gets it over to the far wing. Butch Neighbor trips a shot off a former teammate. And the New York Rangers get to it. They clear it out. The final 5 seconds tick off. 2 to go, 1 left, and bring out the Zamboni. A 3-2 win for the Blues to open up the 2-game homestand. And they're back on track and continue to pick up points under Jim Montgomery.
Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, 202. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Got some hockey to get into, a little bit of baseball, a lot of football. But, of course, we start off with the St. Louis Blues getting it done yesterday in a small upset against the New York Rangers, who had been struggling coming in. The Blues rebounded from... Well, I'd say from Jordan Binnington's performance in Dallas. It was incredible.
It was a hell of a first period, too. It was good.
They rebounded from the overtime loss to the Stars and get it done versus the New York Rangers. It's kind of a big weekend. I know that they lost to the Stars, guys, but when you look at things, Binnington stole a point in Dallas, Jamie, and the Blues get 3 of 4 total points.
Yeah.
Things could have been much bleaker than what they were, and again, they won yesterday.
Well, we talked about it last week. We talked about the fact that the Blues had 6 games until the holiday/Christmas break, and I said if they could go 500 or even 3, 2, and 1, just a little bit above 500, that would be a successful little run here before they get a little break and kind of go from there. Now, that was before they acquired Cam Fowler, and it was before they played these 2 games. Now, you get 1 point in Dallas, you get 2 points against the Rangers. You have a tough team in New Jersey, tough team in Tampa, tough team in Florida. And Detroit, winnable game, in my opinion. So you're starting off on the right foot, which is huge that they end up, especially back-to-back. Like, that was a crap sandwich, too. With all the travel that's been going on, playing back-to-back is one thing. I usually just kind of turn my nose up to it. I'm like, listen, who cares? It's just 2 games in a row. But when you've been traveling the way the Blues have, came back for 1, back out to Dallas, then you got to play again the next day at 5 o'clock. Like, it wears on you a little bit. So I thought, overall, it was a pretty gutsy weekend. I thought Jordan Binnington was incredible. I thought he was on another level in Dallas, and the Dallas Stars seemed to feel the same way, too. And they finally got one past him in overtime there to win the game, but he got you a point. He came back with Joel Hofer, who was solid yesterday, and your big boys showed up, put the pucks in the net, and that's how it goes, baby.
Yeah. Jordan Carey has been on, speaking of a different level, I think he's been on a different level.
Oh, Anthony.
I know, I'm not supposed to say that.
Don't you know the Blues Nation can't stand him?
I was going to say, is he like unlocked something? Like you're starting to see, like that goal he scored against the Rangers. I mean, come on. Like you kick the puck to yourself, you go glove side, you can play hockey really well.
Carey,
you're really good.
The one thing about that one though is he back-checked, stole the puck from the opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told that he's a useless player.
Yeah.
I was told that the Blues should just not even trade him, just
move on. Just dump him. Dump salary.
That's what I was told.
Pay him to go away.
Yeah.
That's what they said. A lot of people have said it. But it feels like he's been unlocked some kind of way. Like, I don't know if it's just, Jamie, and you get to a certain point in your career, like you start to really understand it at an elite level and things start to become everything that everyone thinks that you can be. Some people go in the opposite direction and some people kind of take off. I feel like he's taking off in the direction of this guy can score 30, 40 goals year after year if he plays at this elite type of level.
Well, he's leading your team in scoring. For one thing, and him and Robert Thomas are absolutely on fire since the coaching change. And when you look at a guy like Jordan Carey, his biggest criticism has been that he doesn't play the full 200-foot game, and he's not a competitive guy, and all this stuff. To have 27 points in 32 games, that's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
I think so. And he's a +4. And I understand, that doesn't mean anything, but it meant something to all the Blues fans when he was minus. Why does the +6 not mean anything now? He's being put in better situations out there, and I think that Jim Montgomery has had a real positive effect on this team. If you go back a couple of years ago when Monty was here last, Jordan Carey had his best season ever in the NHL. So maybe this is the time where you get the right coach with the right message, with the right accountability, and you produce a guy like Jordan Kyrou, who's playing very, very well for the Blues.
And it wasn't just Jordan Kyrou yesterday. Buchnevich scored. Thomas scored unassisted. Your stars showed up yesterday.
Yes.
So Binnington shows up and shells out against Dallas, earns you a point despite the overtime loss. And then yesterday was all about your star players. And the Rangers had been struggling coming in. I mean, just the day before, they benched Shesterkin.
Well,
Bless you.
Thank you. Against the Kings, who wiped the floor with them at Madison Square Garden. They won 5-1. So then the Rangers had to hop a flight and come to St. Louis. And they got the three top players, arguably, for the Blues doing their thing in the first two periods. Blues had to hang on in the end, but they did.
Hang on.
And you got 2 points, and you're looking really good.
So Kyrou, Thomas, and Buchnevich scored yesterday. To your point, Anthony, they're 1, 2, 3 in team scoring right now. Kyrou 27 points in 32 games, Buch 21 points in 30, and Robert Thomas 23 points in 20 games. And I don't necessarily want to sit here and correlate Robert Thomas's hot streak to the, we'll call it, snub from Team Canada, but I'm not going to not talk about it. I mean, maybe somebody said something about, well, we'll show them. Maybe it was on the road. I don't know. Maybe. But either way, Robert Thomas is showing the hockey world why they should probably be watching him play. He's been really good. He's been good in the face-off circle. He's killing penalties. He's out there defensively. He's putting points on the board. He's got assists in 7 straight games. Like, he's showing the hockey world that he's a legit number one center.
And he said every reason to actually come back from the injury slow. I don't think anybody would have said, like, hey, listen, this guy was banged up before he came back.
Yeah.
He came back relatively quickly. And if he weren't playing great, you could say, well, maybe lingering effects of the injury. Instead, he seemingly has come out of the gate to bat out of hell.
Right. Yeah.
And it was an ankle injury. He was broken foot.
Yeah.
So you don't get to skate. You don't get to do all of those things when you're out. Like you're not able to really stay in shape. You can get on the hand machine bike,
whatever that thing's called.
This motion, and you can try to get your cardio up, but you can't actually get out and move around in the fashion that you are able to when you're completely healthy. And so he's back and playing extremely well. And to your point, like you said, it could be an excuse, but it hasn't been. He's been playing outstanding. I feel like the entire team has made a shift. Like they have changed in how they go about their business day to day, and they're finishing games. They're working hard to get that 1 point in Dallas. They got outshot. Like there was so many shots on goal. I'm like, are they gonna go and they want to play on the ozone at all? No, not today. It's not likely. You're just gonna sit here. You're gonna take this many shots. I don't know how you're gonna win that game.
It was a 2-1 game in overtime. I don't know what game you're watching.
By the grace of God, 4 of those things didn't go in. You're like, ain't just gonna keep shooting, huh?
It wasn't God. It was Jordan Bennington.
Jordan Bennington. Some people say
hockey God.
You can pronounce it God if you want.
Yeah, some people call it. But no, I think they are playing well. They're playing extremely well. And I said, to your point, they could probably get an overtime loss in Dallas. They would beat the Rangers. They would beat the Lightning, who they play in 2 days, and they would beat the Devils tomorrow.
Wow, Carey.
And then possibly who do they play after that? What's the next game?
And then the Panthers.
The
Panthers
and then
probably
Red Wings.
lose to the Panthers and then beat the Red Wings. So I said 4-1-1.
Okay.
That's what I'm sticking with.
All right, Carey, if you jump on the Circus Sports Illinois app, you can create a parlay of all that, and they've got the best odds in the business.
Might hear more of that here in a second. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So the Blues acquired Cam Fowler. Why make the move now?
Dexter's brother.
Cousin, I think.
Yeah.
First cousin.
Sure.
Yeah, probably second or third.
Dante.
For some reason.
What makes you say that?
I'm not sure.
Dante Fowler's brother. The Blues make a move, and some are wondering why. In the midst of a retool, why would you acquire a 33-year-old defenseman? Well, Jamie will tell you why and how Cam Fowler fits into this defensive group next on 101 ESPN.
Well, you just heard my guy Carey talking about the St. Louis Blues and what he thinks are going to be wins and losses for that team. They call that a parlay in the betting app world, and you should go and play that parlay over at Circus Sports Illinois, the app. It's the best in the business. You can bet like a pro on there, first of all. They've got tight money line splits, the best odds, best payouts, all of that stuff available at Circus Sports Illinois on the app. Derek Stevens is the creator of Circus Sports in Las Vegas, a casino, has the world's largest sports book in the casino. Now, he brought that sportsbook right into the palm of your hand, and it's so easy to use. There's no promos either, because the promo is in the price and the payout that you're going to have. There's no betting limits, which obviously that's a lot of fun to play it under those circumstances. It's super easy to download, user-friendly. You can find it on their website, or you can find it in the App Store. Don't miss out on all the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circus Sports Illinois app today, and join in on all the excitement. If you're someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
I think it just adds another player that's played in this league for a long time and has been really good at it. You can never have enough good defensemen, and it's just good with the way we've been using our top four with the minutes. To have someone else come in is going to be able to eat a lot of those minutes as well.
That was Jim Montgomery, head coach of the St. Louis Blues, talking about the newest addition for the Blues, Cam Fowler, who the Blues acquired on Friday night from the Anaheim Ducks to perhaps bolster a playoff push. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. So the Blues traded a 2027 second-round pick and 22-year-old minor league defenseman Jeremy Biakabatuka.
Wow, I'm
Tim's
impressed.
nephew.
I think it's actually Tim Biakabatuka's son.
I thought it was his nephew.
His nephew?
I think it's his nephew. Yeah.
Oh, it's his nephew.
Yeah.
He knows Biaka Patuka. Tim Biaka Patuka is a name you cannot forget.
Oh, I know, but I was
Michigan.
waiting to see. I was like,
I saw you kind of look at it. I'm like, no, he's
I was
got
ready to help.
I hope he's going to be impressed here. Yeah.
I was very.
Yeah, no chance unless Tim Biaka plays for Michigan
At some point in his
at
life.
some point in his life. Yeah, Jeremy Biaka. It's Anaheim for Fowler and a 2027 fourth-round pick. Jamie, there's been some pushback among Blues fans on this trade because they're supposed to be in a retool. Why are they acquiring an old guy? Why now? Why and is he a fit?
He's a great fit. I mean, his first game, first of all, he's never played for another team except Anaheim. So his very first trade of his career, and he flies in that day and plays that night. And Jim Montgomery was funny. He's like, just go play. Mm-hmm. You've been in this league long enough, just go play. Not going to bog you down with a bunch of crap. Just
you know
go.
what you're doing.
Yep, you're
Get
fine.
out there.
You got about 1,000 games here coming up. You're good.
Yeah.
And
Do you know who we gave up for you? Biaka. Get out there.
But not that.
Not that one.
I thought he fit in great in Dallas. You could see there were some times where he was somewhat tentative because obviously new players, new systems, new coaches, new gloves, new helmet, new pants, like all of this stuff that people think, oh, it's no big deal. No, it is. I mean, when you're wearing stuff that's broken in, then you get handed brand new stuff. It's a little different, feels different. But then last night, he was really good. He led the team in ice time, and he played very well. Subtle little sauce passes, gets out of danger easy, defends very well, tough in front of the net, like holds the blue line, joins the attack. He's very assertive in the way he plays, and that's only his second game wearing the blue note. And for anybody who's like, well, why'd you get a 33-year-old defenseman? 33, not 43, first of all, okay? And you did go sign a 39-year-old defenseman in the offseason, too.
Who's played a lot of time.
Who's played a lot and played very well.
Yeah.
And now when you drop Ryan Suter's ice time back to 15, 16 minutes, you're going to get the best version of him.
Great point.
And right now, the uncertainty of Nick Leddy with his injury, this is why you make the move. Because Nick Leddy was a minute muncher too, 20-plus minutes a game. Him and Colton Parayko, just run him out there. And then you had Broberg and Falk, just run him out there. Well, you didn't have that for a while. When Leddy was hurt and Falk was hurt, like you were scrambling. Now you got Cam Fowler, who's the guy he obviously proved. He played almost 25 minutes last night against the New York Rangers in a back-to-back situation. He's a heck of a player, and he's underrated offensively too. He's had 40 points in the NHL on 3 separate occasions. He had 48 points just 2 years ago for the Ducks, and he had 39 points last year. So these are his last 3 years, starting with last year, 39 points. The year before, 48. The year before, 42. That's a terrible hockey team in Anaheim. Terrible. So people look at the plus minus. Well, he's minus. Remember what everybody was saying about Colton Parayko a couple of years ago when the Blues did not have a good team? Our buddy Dom was like, it's the worst contract in the NHL. Well, seems a little different now, right?
Right.
Cam Fowler's like the same way. Cam Fowler's the type of player that when he came into the league, he was a hell of a player. Hell of a player with the Anaheim Ducks. And, I think he had 40 points his very first year in the NHL. Look, plus minus has always been a little bit of an obstacle, but it is when you have a team that fluctuates like that. So I love the addition. He solidifies the blue line for you. And if Nick Leddy does come back, look at the 6 that you've got. You've got Fowler, Parayko, Broberg, Falk, Suter, Leddy. Who are the young guys? Okay, which young guy has wowed you?
Right.
Which one?
That's the question.
Which young guy has wowed you?
Who is he blocking?
He's not blocking Perunovich. He's not blocking P.O. Joseph. He's not blocking Matthew Kessel, although Matthew Kessel was the one guy who gets sent down. For our listeners who don't understand why that happened, it's because he does not require waivers to go to the minors. Every other defenseman required to clear waivers, and they would have been picked up off of waivers, more than likely. And so, and you listen to Doug Armstrong talk about it the other day. He's like, Theo Lindstein and some of the other young defensemen, they're like 2 to 3 years away from making an impact or even making an NHL roster. Leddy, Fowler, Suter, those guys, those contracts will be expired by the time the young guys are ready to go. So you're not blocking anybody. So anybody that thought it was like a Cardinals situation, where, Arenado's blocking Gorman, that's not happening here. It's just not. You don't have that young stud in the minors right now that is kicking the door down to get to the end. You just don't.
Yeah.
So I love the move. I think it solidifies things. I honestly think it turns the Blues into like a credible playoff team, like the chance of being a playoff team.
I think the big question is what's going on with Nick Leddy, and what does his timetable look like? When is he returning? Is this like an LTIR situation? And if so, could he return if the Blues do make the playoffs? He's back in the playoffs, and the Blues use what every other team has done, before, and now you have 6 legit defensemen at the back half of your season. So, where's Nick Leddy in that process?
Well, Nick Leddy's in St. Louis right now. Probably listening to the show. He's a big listener, loves our show. But
So, Nick.
Yeah, Nick. His timeline's undetermined.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say this. It's a very weird injury. And he could be a week, could be 3 weeks, could be 3 months, depending on. So this, with the uncertainty, again, of is he going to play? Because then he was skating again. Then he stopped skating. Then he was skating again. Then he stopped skating. So Army's like, okay, we're not going to jump on this roller coaster. We're going to let it just go, run itself around there for a while. We're going to got another defenseman who can play equal minutes or more than Nick Leddy. And then when Nick Leddy comes back, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think that's ultimately the plan. And if Nick Leddy gets healthy and does come back, man, you have a ridiculously solid defense core at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like the trade was made because maybe there is a shift in the mindset. This now feels like a team that can make the playoffs and make a run. It's starting to, when you talk about Booch and Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou at the top line playing extremely well. Jordan Kyrou, I said earlier, has been unlocked. And now you go and get some more veteran defensemen. I don't want to call them old because 33 isn't old. Now, you're a vet because you've been playing for 15 years, and maybe that's the problem there. He's got a lot of mileage. But when you're 33, listen, I'm good. I still can play at a high level. So I think that there's a shift in the mindset of, you know what, this team actually is better than they were earlier, and we're going to strike while the iron is hot. And then, as you said, when those other guys start coming in a few years from now, you got your Snuggaroos, your Dvorsky's, all of the other guys that are going to be mainstays in this lineup. The culture has been built by this team, hopefully making a deep run into the playoffs. I think that's why that trade is made, because you feel like, you know what, we do have something here. Let's go get it now.
After the first couple of games under head coach Jim Montgomery, something changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Army felt it too. Mm-hmm. And I think that at that moment, he's like, okay, I've got to give this guy a better roster. Nick Leddy's hurt. We're going to go get Cam Fowler. We're going to go make a difference. And I wouldn't be surprised that if, as the season continues to go, that Army doesn't make another addition as well. Because the Blues right now are 2 points out of a playoff spot.
Right.
2 points. I mean, that's one win out of a playoff spot right now. And if you can go find a player or two that can give you multiple wins, they help you win more games, you're right there in there. And one thing Army said before is he owes it to the fan base and the ownership to try and make the playoffs every year. Last year and the year before were unique circumstances, but he communicated that very thoroughly to the fan base about what they were trying to do. This year, before the season started, he talked about how we're moving past the retool. We're on to phase 2, which means we start winning some games, start being a competitive hockey team. And at first, I'm sure some people were like, I don't know. What's Army drinking over there?
Yeah.
But now what are they saying? Saying, okay, I can see it now. Jordan Binnington is playing extremely well. He's got his A game. Joel Hofer's good. Your defensive core is shored up. And now you've got your top players that are 1, 2, 3 in your scoring. You got your younger players, Holloway, the Brobergs, the Neighbors. They're all playing well. Now's the time. Put a little gas on the fire, and Army did that. And we'll see, where it ends up ultimately. But I think, to your point, Carey, I think the attitude has changed from, hopefully we get close to, no, we want a playoff spot.
Yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, too, the Ducks are retaining 38.5% of Fowler's $6.5 million cap hit. 33-year-old defenseman also had a limited no-trade clause in which he submitted a 14 trade list to the Ducks. He did that every offseason.
Yeah.
So he clearly was okay with being here. Well,
so backstory on that. On his 4-team list, the Blues were not on his 4-team list that he would go to.
Son of a duck.
But it's okay. No. What's better about this is that his agent and him started doing some background checks, talking to players, coaches, people, executives around the league and stuff, the alumni that were here in St. Louis that he had played with Anaheim and now back here.
Nice.
And he said that by the end of the conversation, we're like, yeah, we'll accept the trade to St. Louis.
Excellent. Well, that is good then.
Yeah. So.
Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marshy, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Speaking of Marsh, he's got some What's Trending topics for us next in the Fast Lane.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. It was a busy weekend for the Blues. They acquire Cam Fowler in a trade from the Anaheim Ducks. They also played in 2 games. One in Dallas, where they went to overtime and unfortunately lost to the Stars. 2-1 the final on Saturday. But they bounced back yesterday and defeat the Rangers on home ice by a final score of 3-2. They'll take on the New Jersey Devils tomorrow, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk about this weekend with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, at 4:30, so stay tuned for that. Tonight, though, we have Monday Night Football. It's the Vikings and the Bears. Pregame starts at 6:30. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
What's trending now in the world of sports?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
What's trending now is brought to you by Goodwill, creating opportunities and changing lives. Together, building a brighter future. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, Travis Hunter is your Heisman winner. It was announced on Saturday that the dual threat wide receiver, DB, from Colorado. No, not that
defensive
DB.
back.
I heard he's a really good guy.
No,
No
not that
defensive
DB.
back.
No, different one.
That's what I meant.
Different
Not
one.
an Arizona Diamondback.
No. He wins the Heisman over Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel. Carey, we thought that Genty was going to win.
Yeah,
Anthony said otherwise.
I thought Genty had done more than enough. I think, and I was telling you all earlier, this is the closest voting since Mark Ingram and Toby Gerhart were 1 and 2. But for me, I thought Ashton Genty did a fantastic job. I can't blame them for voting for Travis Hunter. He did so much. He's done so much this season for his team, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. You probably never see a player play to that many plays to that magnitude on both sides of the ball. We saw Charles Woodson do it. He was mainly a cornerback, but he did some punt return and he did play some receiver, but he didn't play it nearly as much as Travis Hunter has. So, when you see something that you haven't seen before, you probably lean that way, but we haven't seen anything like what Ashton Genty has done in 30 years. So, I get it. I didn't have a problem with it, but I thought Ashton Genty had done enough to make his case to be the Heisman Trophy winner.
Anthony, who did you have for Heisman Trophy?
I had Travis Hunter, Jamie. Thanks. Yeah,
and
thanks
you had
for
who,
asking.
Carey?
Ashton Genty.
Did you guys have some kind of a debate at some point?
We did. Marsh and Carey were against me, and I held my ground, Jamie. I said Travis Hunter will win the Heisman, and I was pretty firm with that. Yeah.
Carey, your thoughts?
He got it. Congratulations. Is that what we had I'm trying to figure. Why do you keep bringing this up? What are you doing?
Anthony's got to say his piece first. Too. I didn't do anything. I
What
wasn't
did
even
you
here.
do? But you knew something. You knew something. I'm like, what did... Listen, here's the bad part about me. You can almost tell me we bet on anything. I'm like, I think we did. Yeah, we might have.
We had a gentleman's handshake.
Did we?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I knew. I was thinking about it. I was like, what the hell did I know it's something, but I don't know what it is. I have something with you. I don't remember what that is either.
Oh, yeah.
See? Yeah.
I can't either.
That was...
You lost.
I love, but we ran it back.
We did, and you lost again.
You don't know that. 'Cause you don't know what it is.
I remember wins and losses. I may not know what we bet on, but I remember wins and losses.
I have no clue.
Go Blues.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
That was the first one. That was the first one.
The first one you lost. Remember, you had to pay me $5.
And
I said,
you said,
we'll parlay the $5 into
but
this
I don't. What is it?
I don't know. You owe me $10. That's all I know.
So, Travis Hunter didn't lead in anything other than snaps.
Yeah, but he played at an elite
He played
level.
2 positions at an elite level, Marshy. He played the whole damn game almost.
He did
That's
play
like-
the entire game.
That's like saying, well, Shohei Ohtani didn't lead the league in
anything.
Home runs
other than games played.
Wins. Guy's incredible.
Marshy's not happy.
When he was still pitching. Travis Hunter, we may never see this again.
That's fair. That's fair.
He was playing at altitude. He was incredible.
In fairness, when you play there, it's different than when you visit there.
He was playing at altitude.
I'm just saying.
Both ways. Offense and defense, Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
That made it better.
Play on both sides of the ball.
When you play there always, I think it's a little easier on your lungs. When you're a visitor, it's like breathing in a mask.
When I first came into the league, we played in Denver against the Avalanche, and I didn't know anything about this elevation crap. Went out, played. It was like 3 years into my career. And then someone says, well, the elevation. I'm like, what are you talking about? The altitude. And after that, I felt like crap every time I played there. I'm like, you guys should have just shut up.
Yeah.
I was fine not having a clue. Okay?
But you didn't really, you probably were tired and was like, what the hell, man?
I don't know. I just thought what I did the night before.
There you go. I noticed it in pregame warm-ups. I'm like, I can't.
Got to a point where I noticed it going to the bathroom. That bed sure is far.
Do you guys think this is the best thing for Ashton Genty to lose the Heisman because he is in the college football playoff? Because if he won the Heisman and then all of a sudden sucked.
Oh, he's not going to suck.
I'm not saying he will, but
he's going to.
I think he's going to have
a chip on his shoulder.
I'm asking a question.
I think he's going to have. I thought you meant in a different way. I think it's going to motivate him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
To show that he's the best player in the country. And again,
is he entering the draft?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
He'll be a first round.
Yep. He's going to show. They probably
you can
will.
never have enough running backs, tight ends, or receivers, Marsh.
I don't know that's how that works.
They lead the team.
They don't.
When it comes to football, it's not about the trenches. Okay. It's about the outsides. Know what I mean? Jamar Chase leads the league in receiving.
See
how that team won?
You see, they haven't won many games this year because the interior is going to get their quarterback harmed. He's going to retire.
He looked happy yesterday, too.
So did Joe Burrow.
That's what I'm saying, Joe Burrow.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
You would be happy, too, if every time you drop back, you get hit in the face. They don't protect him.
What are you yelling at me for?
I know you were joking, but it bothers me.
I thought he was talking about Chase. I was talking about Burrow.
He was, and I am, too. That's why he's mad.
Who?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, I thought you meant Anthony.
Oh, hell.
No, I'm not.
He's always mad.
No, I'm not mad. Where are we? The hell are we doing?
I think Genty's going to have a big playoff regardless of winning the Heisman or losing the Heisman. He's a great player.
Do we want to talk about...
By the way, real quick, sorry. I am giving Deion some props, too. Both Shadur and Travis Hunter will play in the bowl game.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going to bow out. I'm cool with that.
I'm not.
Now, when they shred the knee, we're going to talk about how dumb that was. But
like Jalen Smith, that was ridiculous. That man lost so much money. I'm not. Like, it's easier...
I want my players to play.
It's easier for a receiver and a quarterback to not deal with real injuries. They're in the pocket. He's not going to get hit, hopefully, like the guy from Kansas hit him.
Tell that to Joe Theismann.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You guys. Come on.
Come on. The most devastating injury ever to a quarterback.
What the hell are we doing? Oh, God.
Big Illinois win over the weekend.
No, it wasn't. It was a near win.
I watched it, and all I could think was Tyus Edney. Now, for those that don't know, I know a lot of people are Mizzou fans. Tyus Edney took it court to court, end to end, made a game-winning layup. Beat the old Missouri Tigers. That's what I felt like watching this young man from Tennessee get the damn it, the inbounder is the most dangerous person on the court. What are you doing? Why are you chasing the big man that is running away from the basket? He ain't gonna do nothing. He's running to catch the ball. He's gonna hand it to the man that's gonna go 94 feet and lay it up at the damn buzzer. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Why would you do that?
And one.
Oh, my God. The man taking the ball out of bounds is the most dangerous. He's going to pass it in. The man catching the ball is running away from the basket that he needs to score at, and you're chasing him. And then the guy that he hands it off to runs right by you, and nobody stops him. You got the number one team in the country on the ropes in your home. You let him walk out of there with a dub. The shot Gainey made a three-pointer. He's wide open. Why? What are we? That's just disappointing, man. I saw it the last 3 minutes. I'm like, it's going in this direction. Damn it, man. All right.
ILL?
Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't drop the
It's a hard weekend for me, man.
Oh,
it's a tough weekend for me.
Dude, you've been rolling.
Sunday was a tough day.
Every week, don't you guys feel like every weekend on a Monday he's coming in, Victory Monday and all that stuff?
I've been good, man. Illinois took a tough loss. That's all right. We'll see you too. See you on the 22nd. All right, we'll take it out on those Tigers. Go dog. From Missouri. Bragging rights.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what, Carey? I was going to give you your game notes, but you know what? You need to calm down. Let's get to Jamie's game notes next from the NFL. We haven't even touched the NFL yet. NFL Week 15 game notes from Jamie Rivers next on 101 ESPN. I was just looking at the Missouri Athletic Club upcoming events, and it's amazing how much they stockpile events throughout just 1 month. For example, they've already done a breakfast with Santa. They've already done a family brunch with Santa. Then they've got a workshop and Christmas Eve dinner. They always have something going on at the Missouri Athletic Club. That's just for the month of December. But it's great as a club member to constantly go down there and just kind of do things, whether it's working out or, you know, whatever for myself, but then involve the family as well when it comes to, you know, celebrating, whether it's Christmas or upcoming months with different other holidays. You get everybody involved at the Missouri Athletic Club. That's Miami C. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Speaking of Jamie Rivers, he's got his Week 15 game notes
Good thing I wrote
from the
them down.
NFL. You did. I saw you.
Yeah, I did all by myself.
Yeah.
All right, so this week in the NFL, for me, my first one is first notes are on the Bills. This is a legit contender, in my opinion. Watching them play against the Lions, who are a very good team. Now they beat the Lions, they've beaten the Chiefs. None of this is in the playoffs, but these are games that they've won. And I'm just watching the way they play, and just when you think you have them cornered, Josh Allen does something that you don't expect, or that most people can't do. Whether it's a nice pass, or if he just says, screw it, I'm going to run for 25 yards and run over 3 guys on my way doing it. This team is legit. The Buffalo Bills, for all those times we've kind of poked fun at them, and our guy Donnie Fandango, he's a super passionate fan. And I think the Chiefs are in trouble this year. I really do. And I understand, well, until you beat them in the playoffs, yeah, true, until you beat them in the playoffs. But the Bills team right now, just when you watch it, and statistically and everything that you're looking at, they're a better team than the Chiefs. I think the rest of the AFC has to be very aware of what the Bills are, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. I think they might be my team out of the AFC now to go to the Super Bowl. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be, except for the one thing, which is playoff Patrick Mahomes and playoff Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And do they have enough in the tank this year with players, roster-wise, to even do that, to get the Chiefs to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I think the roads to the Super Bowl leads right through the Buffalo Bills.
I agree. The only concern, I had a few concerns going into the season. Josh Allen was a concern. He has always been one of my concerns. He turned the ball over too many times. I thought they would take a step back without Stephon Diggs. But the most important part of it is he's not turning it over. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Every single year of his career, he's had double-digit turnovers, be it interceptions and fumbles lost. He hasn't lost a fumble this year. Not one. He's only fumbled it one time and was able to get it back. But he hasn't lost a fumble. He has 5 interceptions. He's this guy that had 18 last year.
Yeah.
He turned the ball over too many times. So based on his history, I'm like, it's not going to work. He turns the ball over too much, whether it be fumbling or throwing it to the other team. This season, he has figured it out. Not being just careless with the football allows this team to have the best opportunity to win games week in and week out. They go into Detroit and they're up 14 before you even blink. They're like, oh, yeah, they're here. Detroit fought back into the game, but Josh Allen has been playing at an elite level all year long, an MVP caliber level, and it's because he's not turning the ball over. And to your point, they, to me, are I agree. You still got to beat Kansas City in the playoffs. You beat them in the regular season, but all the roads seem to lead to go through Buffalo at this point.
We talk about the Ravens offense, and rightfully so, but the Bills have scored 30 or more points in 8 straight games now, and they have played exceptionally well the last 2 weeks on offense. That was a masterclass what they did to the Lions. The Lions are banged up. We know that. But the way that the Lions like to blitz, a lot of times they'll blitz on 3rd down. They were doing it on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah.
And then when they held back on 3rd, Josh Allen, to what you said, Jamie, he would roll out of the pocket. He'd create more opportunities with his legs. The one he rolled out and he threw, I forget who caught it. It might have been Shakir, in between 2 defenders because he had got outside. I mean, that causes all kinds of havoc. I think the Lions are, I think you're going to get to the Lions here in a second. But I agree. The Bills right now look like the best team in the NFL, not just the best team in the AFC. So they're a legit Super Bowl contender. None of it matters until you do it in the playoffs, but they look like a better, healthier, more dynamic team right now than the Chiefs, especially with the Patrick Mahomes injury.
Yeah, I would agree. So my second team is the Lions. Like you said, Anthony, I was about to touch on the Lions here.
Sure.
So will injuries ultimately end their quest? Because they're starting to pile up now. And they're not just to so-so positions or so-so players. They're piling up with really good players in important positions. And I just don't know if the Lions have enough depth to get through to the regular season. Yeah, they can get through. They can get to the finish line here as far and probably still have a really good chance of winning the division. We'll see. But after that, I just don't know. I don't know what they've got as far as the depth is concerned, or if they have the ability to go out there and win a playoff game, let alone get to the Super Bowl.
Doesn't it feel like, not just because of the injuries, but doesn't it feel like the Lions have suddenly become, I mean, in a matter of a week, one of the more vulnerable contenders? I don't like them as much outside in the elements, especially if you have to go to Philadelphia, than I do at home. Turf, loud crowd, passionate fan base, all that. If they have to go on the road, like if Minnesota catches them and surpasses them in the NFC North, that's one thing. But even if the Lions are second and you are banged up, you have to play an extra game because you don't get that first round bye, and eventually you find yourself in Philadelphia, I'm sorry, that's rough. I think the Lions have to win the division, have to win the NFC, and even then, because of the injuries, they feel vulnerable.
What'd you guys think of the onside kick?
So hang on. So my second point here is, can Dan Campbell actually coach a winning team? And I love Dan Campbell. And they are a winning team. What I mean is like truly a winning team, like a championship, because we saw it last year in the playoffs. All that bravado, all that, risk it for reward, all that was great until it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And then he goes for the extra 2 points. Like, you're 35 yards away now. Just kick the extra point. We'll worry about it later, Coach. Yeah. Yesterday, what was there, like 12 minutes left in the game?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Onside kick. Mm-hmm. And it almost ends up going right back into the end zone on them, which they eventually do score on that. And you lost by how much? You lost by 7? 6, 7?
Yeah.
I think it was 48-42 final score. So that onside kick probably cost you the game.
Right.
Or could, in theory, have cost
you're
you.
trying to steal a possession, but you're right. There's still 12 minutes to play.
12 minutes to play. I just, all the trickery, all the craziness, it's fun. It brings teams together, but it also rips them to shreds when they lose important games because of a reckless call.
I think what he's saying with that, and what he's saying by going for it on fourth down at his own 35-yard line, is I don't trust my defense. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame him. But at some point, you do have to make a defensive stop. You can't rely on trying to steal possession with an onside kick.
They held him to the field goal in that final drive.
Yeah.
For me, the injuries are going to be more of the issue. If you look at the number of injured reserve players they have, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson was the one weeks ago. Anzalone is hurt. You had Carlton Davis break his jaw. Have y'all ever seen a guy break his jaw?
Oh, man.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
I had a teammate break his jaw. Mm-hmm. He came, he says, something wrong? I said, yeah, you should go see.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Put your helmet on.
It's crooked. You should go see
here or here.
It's
right here.
Yeah. McNeil tore his ACL. You got David Montgomery out for the rest of the season with an MCL injury. They have had, I've never witnessed a team have this many injuries to starters, to guys that play a lot of time, a lot of snaps, a lot of moments, and important moments on the field. To me, that's going to be the thing that prevents them from having success this postseason. Is at some point you have too many injuries and you just continue to have backups in there, you're not going to be able to sustain that.
I wonder if their success is more so aligned with Ben Johnson and not Dan Campbell. No, offensively.
It's always the head coach.
It's interesting.
Well, but Ben Johnson's not making onside kick calls. Yeah. He's not making
He's not the one saying fourth down. He just gets to play.
He might say, "Hey, I've got to play for this," but then Dan Campbell ultimately has to make the decision.
What you're saying though is if the Lions are going to win anything, they're going to win on offense. So it's got to be.
They have to outscore everybody.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna work.
And is Ben Johnson, is he the one that ultimately gets them there offensively? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you bring in a different guy, maybe their offense isn't cooking as good as they do.
Yeah, well, probably. Anyways, my last one real quick here is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Watching them play, I mean, they put a beating on the Chargers. Baker Mayfield, every week I expect, here comes the Mayfield implosion. It hasn't happened. He's been great in Tampa. He just keeps on shoving at the quarterback position. He had 4 touchdown passes. He did throw a pick yesterday, but they ran up the score.
Yeah.
So I look at them and I'm like, are the Bucs? Can they actually surprise somebody in the playoffs?
I think they can.
I think it's a foregone conclusion for me that they're going to win the division, specifically because their last 3 games are against the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Saints.
Yeah, they're going to win out.
They're going to win out. Then can they muster up an upset?
They're going to win out. They're going to be the 3 seed, and all of a sudden, if you're in that wild card mix, You're not going to Atlanta with a fragile Falcons team. You're going to Tampa against a confident, tough, we don't take any bleep Buccaneers squad. They have completely upgraded that either way. I think they're going to get the three seed, especially after you saw what the Seahawks did last night. They may not make the playoffs now. The Rams may catch them. But if you have to go to Tampa now instead of Atlanta, which that's going to be the case, I mean, good luck. They're playing with the Bucs are playing with swagger. They got two capable backs when Bucky Irving is healthy. The defense is starting to play a little better. Mike Evans is unstoppable. I don't know what the Chargers' game plan was yesterday, but it clearly wasn't double Mike Evans. I couldn't believe the second one he threw to him, where it was just one. Baker's just throwing that's just a post. Inside leverage, corner nowhere to be found. Like that was the Bucs are legit. I think they win at least one playoff game. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? I don't think so, but I think they're going to win at least one playoff game. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Do the Stars show the Blues still got a little ways to go here? A little bit of a gap still between them and the top tier in the NHL. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
I look at more at what we didn't do, and what we didn't do is we didn't get above pucks. We didn't hang on to pucks. We weren't getting on the right side of our checks, and that led to a lot of either odd man rushes or, unfortunately, us spent a lot of time in our D zone.
So it's Jim Montgomery talking about what went wrong for the Blues against the Dallas Stars on Saturday night. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 304. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie, did the Stars, and this isn't a bad thing, it's just, it's just kind of reality, but did the Stars show that the Blues still have a little bit of ways to go? There's still a little bit of a gap between themselves and the top of the food chain in the NHL? That Stars game specifically.
Yeah, I think they did. And there's no shame in it. Dallas Stars have been a really good team for a really long time. They have continued to just tweak their lineup year after year after year, looking for that next Stanley Cup for them. Jim Nill has a roster full of really good players. Veteran players, young stud players, good defense, great goaltending. So, yeah, it's not a big deal that you went in there. You were competitive for the first period, and then you kind of dropped off in the second and third, except for Jordan Binnington. Mm-hmm. Jordan Binnington flat out stood on his head and got you a point. But I think if you're Jim Montgomery and you look at that game, you go, okay, for one period, we were right there with them. We played the way we wanted to play. We played the way we could play, and then we dropped off. So the next time we play a team of that caliber, we need to have at least 2 or 3 solid periods like that. And when you look at the Blues this year, like they beat the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are still first place in the division. Now, they've had a rough go here. In their last 10, they're 4-5-1, which is not stellar. The Minnesota Wild continue to truck along, and the Blues competed very good with the Wild. And Wild are 7-3-0 in their last 10. You go down to the Blues are 6-2-2 in their last 10. Mm-hmm. So if they continue at this pace with these teams, they're going to reel them in the standings, and they're also going to continue to get better. But you did see a really good Dallas Stars team who's very big, too, by the way. Some of their best players are big. I mean, Robertson's a big guy. Jamie Benn's a big guy. Rope Hintz is a big guy. Like, you've got Marchment's a big guy. So you're dealing with some of the size there, too, which, you need a little more toughness, maybe a little more grit in the corners at times against these guys. But overall, I thought it was just a little example of, like, you've got work to do.
Yeah. Conversely, though, I do wonder if you look at it, and Binnington, as much as you were outplayed on Saturday night, you still went to overtime, and because of Binnington. So did that also display that Binnington could potentially steal you a playoff series still with that performance?
Yeah. Let's go back a couple of years to the Avalanche series, to which still many people who aren't St. Louis Blues fans, who aren't St. Louis Blues front office, go back and talk about that series, about how Jordan Binnington almost single-handedly stole that series from the Avalanche.
Right.
We know he got injured. Nazem Kadri, scumbag, fell on top of Jordan Binnington, and we know the outcome of all that, what happened. But I think what's happened here again now is teams, including his own team, are looking and going, okay, Jordan Binnington can win a damn playoff series, maybe even more than one on his own.
Yeah.
So if it's your team, if he's my goalie, I'm confident. We get to play with a little more swagger. Mm-hmm. If I'm on the other team, like the Dallas Stars were getting frustrated. You could see it. They're starting to shoot from everywhere. The body language, the hands up in the air, the F-bombs, and he was lodged in their head, and it was one game. Imagine a 7-game series where you're constantly basically shooting the puck off a brick wall and can't find an opening.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that Jordan Binnington still has that mystique about him where he could walk into any playoff series and win the series just outright with the way he plays.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think it shows that they are closer than maybe what people think, because you were able to face as many shots as you did against Dallas and still get that game into overtime. I would hope and I would assume that, all things being fair, if that is a playoff series, you're not as fatigued. And I'm not I'm not an excuse person, but we talked about the road trip and, the back and forth, one game here, then on the road. And so it does have a lot of wear and tear on your body, as opposed to having a 7-game series where you are here for 3 or 4 days and then you're there for 3 or 4 days. It's a lot easier. So I took it as that was a good game against a good team. And they are ascending and going in the right direction. Like you said, 6-2-2 in their last 10. To me, that's a team that's heading in the right direction.
I didn't think the Blues, let me rephrase this. I didn't think like the Stars did anything like earth-shattering. I thought the Blues basically lost that game themselves. They weren't good on the face-off dot, right? They took some penalties, which I'm sure they'd like back. And at the end of the day, Pavel Buchnevich had an opportunity right in front in overtime. You could have got 2 points out of that. You still could have won that game.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the Philly game from a few weeks ago where, like, the offense just wasn't there. But somehow, some way, you managed to still
who was in
remain in the
for that Philly
Jordan
game?
Bennington. It was literally, I felt like I went in a time machine because I texted you guys, and not a great game. Jordan Bennington, unreal. That's what I said a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing, except for Dallas is, in my opinion, is better than Philly.
Yeah, they are.
And so I think ultimately, if you clean those things up, and Robert Thomas bounced back, great on the face-off dot. Like, he had, like, one of the, I won't say worst performances on the face-off dot, but he wasn't good on Saturday.
Dallas was good.
Dallas
was good. Like, at one point, with 6 minutes left in the first until, like, 12 minutes left in the second, the Blues hadn't had a shot on net.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
And
it was bad.
At one point, it was, like, 5.5 minutes, and the puck hadn't crossed the blue line. So Dallas played well. And maybe it was the Blues. The players didn't have their A game, they're tired, they're bruised, whatever it is, or maybe just Dallas was better in those moments. But to me, when all else fails and your goaltender can just make a save and kill the play, either puck to the corner or freezes the puck, you have to start over again. Like, you have a chance, man. And to your point, you're like, well, and Booch almost won it in overtime.
He did.
Booch almost won it in overtime, and the Blues have barely touched the puck in 2 periods.
They barely touched the puck in overtime.
Yeah.
So when you break it down to its core, the core was that Jordan Bennington gave your team not only a chance to get a point, but 2 points. And if that was a playoff series, and you're 5-on-5 in overtime, you get a lucky bounce, you score one in overtime, Booch, let's say Booch's goal goes in, right? Now if you're the Dallas Stars, like, son of a...
Yeah.
Like, we
outplayed
completely
these guys,
outplayed that team, and we still lost.
Right.
You get in your head sometimes.
I definitely think, well, do you think, Jamie, that penalties on Saturday hurt the Blues' offensive game?
No. I mean, it didn't help the momentum of the game, but the penalties didn't stop them from being able to break out of their own end.
That's fair.
You know, and it didn't stop them from putting the puck in deep and establishing a forecheck.
That sounds so bad when you say it out loud.
I'm just putting it in simplest form, you know?
And there's simple things, right?
Just simple things. So, no, I don't. The penalty situation doesn't help sometimes with momentum, and certainly on the scoreboard if the other team scores, which they did score one power play goal. But it's not going to hinder you from being able to make a breakout pass.
Right. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to do our Sports Six-Pack next. So if you've got a question via the Air Comfort Service text line, it's 314-399-9646. You can send them there. Again, Sports Six-Pack next in the Fast Lane.
Are you currently looking to save money on your car or your home insurance? But when you call your insurance agent currently, you have to call that 1-800 number, right? And you talk to whoever, somebody new every time, somebody different. They don't necessarily know your policy. All of these things can be so frustrating. Let me help you out. Call Tracy Bibb with the Bibb Agency. They work alongside Allstate Insurance, and you're absolutely going to get that customer service that you deserve. They treat you like family. I know this because I switched insurance agents like 4 years ago to the Bibb Agency and never looked back. I couldn't believe that not only did I not know my old insurance agent, I didn't really know what my coverage was. All I was ever told is, oh, you got a great rate, But the rate is not important as it is when you have the proper coverage or the improper coverage. And that's where Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency really help you. They make sure that they fight to get you the best rate available, but they make sure that you're completely covered so that when something happens, and again, it's not if, because something always does happen. When it does happen, you're covered and you're safe and you're protected. And that's why Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency should be your first call. Give them a call at 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
Time for the Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Marsh, what do you got?
Question number one.
All right, we were just talking about the Blues netminder, Jordan Bennington. We get a question from the 314. Do the Blues currently have the best goalie tandem in the NHL?
Ooh, that's a good question. They probably got to be pretty close.
I don't know.
I'm trying to look at some of the other teams. Like Toronto Maple Leafs, statistically, the Maple Leafs have a better goalie tandem. Their numbers are higher with Joseph Woll and Stolars in net there. But, I mean, apart from that, it'd be tough to find anybody else that's even close. Washington has a pretty good tandem. They've only given up, let's see here, goals against 77 goals, but that's also a team stat as well. They're playing pretty good there. Yeah, I'd say Blues in top three for sure in the NHL as far as goalie tandems. And when it comes to winning the big games, I'd probably have them number one because the Maple Leafs goalies have not won any of the big games. Joseph Woll is a fantastic young goalie, St. Louis kid, but he hasn't won the big game yet for the Leafs. He hasn't gone past the first round of the playoffs. Stolars was the backup last year for the Florida Panthers as Bobrovsky ran the table over there for them. So he can watch the big games, but he hasn't played in them just yet. So yeah, I'd say top three and maybe number one and number two when it comes time to actually perform at a high level.
Question number two.
From the 618, what's your favorite pastime that's not sports, like fishing or croquet?
Croquet. Oh, boy.
Shooting pool considered a pastime?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, billiards.
Yeah, billiards. I used to watch those videos on like ESPN where they not those videos, Jamie. The
it's ESPN.
Yeah, not the ones you were thinking.
What?
Where they did all the trick shots.
Well, the motion that you were making was confusing to me.
Yeah.
It's just me holding a pool stick.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Not that other VHS tape.
That was my Betamax.
Much different.
So shooting pool. All right, Anthony, you? Banging your face?
Yeah, probably. And or head.
At a concert?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, just in
I
the
like that
studio. And I'm reaching down to pick up something. I like to smoke the back of my head. Used to be like throw like darts, but that was in college. It's been a while. Yeah.
Creed.
I like pool.
Coming again, too.
I don't have a lot of time to do
Yeah.
Anything for yourself in life?
That's
I know.
correct. Yep.
Parenting is a real.
It's a full-time gig.
It is, man.
It's
Feel
like
selfish when you
Until
try to
they
do something for
get
yourself.
grown and get out, move on.
It's like yard work. Is that
That's not a.
I like
Some
doing
people,
it.
well, you know
I do
what?
too.
If you enjoy
But I like it. Like
doing the yard work,
like
it
cutting
gets you
down
away.
branches,
yeah,
and doing
maybe.
stuff, and landscaping.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you, Jamie.
like that. I mean, that's when I have a spare moment. That's what I have to do.
You don't
is
have
actually
a lot of time.
work. I don't have. No, I barely have any spare time. I used to love to fish, but. You know, when I go to the lake now, I'm not throwing a fishing rod in there. I'm
you're just trying to stay on the
cooler
boat.
full of beer and yeah. Thank you for that, Carey.
All right, so we established not much.
Good. Maybe boating? Could that be a hobby?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
motor?
I'm not driving. Now that would be a good one. Yeah.
The 618 wants to know, is drinking considered a hobby?
I mean,
If so, we've got that covered.
yeah. It's not really a hobby though.
No.
You can do it while you're performing your hobby.
Yeah. Question 3. please.
Question number 3.
All right, from the 618, is the fact that Ryan Helsley has not been traded yet show the front office has not learned their lesson about holding on for players for too long?
I don't know. I think that they're trying to get the most return for Ryan Helsley and
Might not be there.
And I don't think it's right now. I think it's going to be at the deadline. And like I said last week, you hope and pray and cross your fingers and all those things. You only pitch Helsley once every 3-4 days for one inning and hope he gets the save or hope he performs well, and then you can get maximum return for him. And I just think the Cardinals don't feel like right now is maximum return for him.
Yeah, again, trade deadline is probably better, but you know, in anything, when you're running a business, you can run the risk of that value being much lower than what you thought you should get right now, or what you are looking to get, what you can get right now. So
yeah,
you gotta weigh it out. And if you feel like what you're being offered, if there have been offers and you don't feel like it's to the standard of what you need, then you hold on to them. And like Jamie said, cross your fingers. Hope that he doesn't strain a calf muscle or hurt his pitching finger and blow up in the inning, that playoff inning.
Question number 4.
We don't need to be reminded about that.
I'm sorry.
From the 636, after the Heisman controversy this year, do you think sports awards should only be voted on by former players and no media?
Can I ask a silly question here? What was the controversy?
Yeah, I don't think it was a controversy.
No, like what was it? Is there something out there in the universe?
I believe Genty got more. His name was on the ballot, I believe, more than
like the fan vote or something.
He won the fan vote. There was like ESPN put out a poll on X. There was over 200,000 votes, and Genty got 73% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. What does that mean?
They should have the fans vote then.
No, but, but what does it mean?
That's the controversy.
Is the fan vote does it count for like 3% of the actual vote? Or
No.
Like, how's it weighted?
No, there's
doesn't
no
count for
fan
anything,
vote.
right?
Counts at all.
No, that's only the NBA.
So why is it a controversy?
Because
I'm with
everyone
you.
thinks that, not everybody, but a majority of fans of college football believe that Genty should have won.
So a bunch of Boise
the
State
Heisman.
people logged on 77 different times and voted for
I don't know
him?
about that.
Possibly.
I don't know. That's why I look at that. I'm like, no. I take that as like,
I mean, it is an imperfect science, but if you think that you're just going to solve the issue of voting by giving it to former players The idea sounds good. But, Carey, how many guys do you know don't watch football anymore?
Oh, a bunch. They don't care. I got friends that couldn't tell you anything about what's going on in football.
So
no clue.
Having the idea, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
You got these former players. They know the game. They know what's being asked of the players and all that. And they're the ones voting. Except not all of them pay attention. Not all of them watch. How much you're watching all those games, too. It's an imperfect science. I still think they got it right. Had they gone with Ashton Genty, I don't think that would have been some big controversy either. I just think that Travis Hunter playing both sides and doing it at an elite level. I thought you know what Ashton Genty's problem is? Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter happened to play college football this year, too.
I think it's because he played for Boise State.
I don't.
I do.
I think Ashton Genty, as much as he would be, as much as he probably was bothered, because I think he even said he felt like he should have walked away with the trophy.
Hey, he sat out for like 8 full quarters.
I think if he wins the national championship, that would be as good.
Because he plays for Boise State, he's going to be in the playoffs, too.
I don't know that that's why he's
good night.
Anthony.
I think
that kind of felt like a crap sandwich.
Do you want me to?
So the guy that got his team to the college football playoff is not better than the guy who didn't.
Because he plays for Boise State, he doesn't have to play this weekend.
I don't think that's
I'll hang
why.
up and listen.
I don't think that's why he doesn't have to.
I agree
play.
with Anthony, actually.
Thanks, Jamie.
I do. They had a crap schedule. Yeah. That's why he ran up all those yards and all. That's the reason.
Marshy.
I think they got it right. I think Marsh is upset.
You know who should have been there? You know who should have been there? His offensive line. Without them, he ain't running anywhere.
Now you got a point there.
Great call.
I believe he won the.
Thank you, Jamie.
What is it? The most outstanding player?
Maxwell.
The Maxwell.
Yeah, the Maxwell.
Yeah, the last 8 out of 10 players to win that award won the Heisman.
Yeah,
heading into
how about
the Heisman.
those two?
Did he win the Bednark Award?
That's the best
Award?
defensive player.
The Connor Bedard Award?
That's right.
The
That's right.
Bednarik.
Chuck
Bednarik. He can't win that. He didn't play
but
defense.
Travis Hunter could.
Travis Hunter didn't win the, which one is it? The Jim Thorpe Award, which is for the best defensive back.
Wasn't even a finalist.
Well, somebody was drunk when they handed in those ballots.
It was an ESPN vote.
Yep. Are you that upset?
I just think that a guy
He's so mad.
like Melvin Gordon, I think, had pretty good numbers too. He didn't win the Heisman. You know,
I think it's subjective. People have their opinions.
Travis Hunter is surrounded by Deion Sanders. Of course he's going to win the Heisman. Because there's no
Travis
media
Hunter
hype.
played on both sides of the ball this year, right?
He didn't lead the league, the nation in one category.
It's hard to
other
do
than
that.
snaps.
It's hard to do that when you're playing that much. One, as a defensive back, you're not going to get balls thrown to you or your way as nearly as much when you're one of the top DBs. So I never worry about interceptions in terms of defensive backs because the best ones, people don't throw that way. Deion Sanders might not ever have led the league in interceptions because they're not. Why would I throw it that way? That's a accident waiting to happen. So I don't worry about that. The plays that he made a ton of plays. Now, they didn't win enough to make it into the playoffs. I think if he would have made it to the playoffs, I think that would make more people feel like the Heisman is justified. But he played outstanding all year. I thought that Ashton Genty should have won it. That was just my feeling on it. But I'm not mad that Travis won.
But I would say to those people, I didn't realize the Heisman was handed to the entire team. I thought that was that.
It's the individual player. It's the individual.
Correct. It's an individual award.
Ashton Genty ran a lot of yards by himself.
He certainly did. He was worthy of being in the discussion again. If had he won it, I would have had no issue with it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem either way.
But to dismiss Travis Hunter and calling it a controversy, that's no controversy.
I don't have an issue with it.
Kid balled all year.
For a couple of years. And he got injured his first year. Remember that whole crap there? He deserved it.
Yeah, we get crushed by the
crushed
Colorado State.
whatever that
on
punk.
the sidelines. Yeah. Yep.
If either of those guys win it, there's no controversy.
So if Genty
He's back to this.
broke Barry Sanders' record prior to the Heisman voting, does he win the Heisman?
Maybe.
Despite not playing in 8 full quarters.
Maybe, but I don't know.
He's going to break it in the first game of the playoffs. Just happened late.
How many players year after year do you see playing in starter positions on offense and defense?
We'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
Charles Woodson won the Heisman. Didn't play anywhere close to the amount of snaps offensively.
No,
as Travis Hunter did.
Congratulations, you played a ton of snaps.
Yeah, but he played good.
Congratulations,
Marshy,
you played.
so hang on. Marshy, I understand your point. If it was just the fact that he had the most number of snaps, but hold on. But
why? Okay.
But he also played. He was also a focal point on the offense, and he was a focal point on defense. Not the best, but a focal point. So he didn't just play the most snaps.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, but when
Why are you alluding to it?
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't think he should have won the Heisman. When ESPN has to put all of the different stats on the broadcast, comparing Genty, who's first in everything, compared to Travis Hunter, and that to add a snap count to show that he was first in that, to me, it's like, come on, man. What are we doing? This guy, whatever.
Marshy?
He had 92 receptions for 1,152 yards, 14 touchdowns, targeted 119 times, 12 and a half yards per attempt, and play defense.
Okay.
I mean, that's Heisman worthy.
Sounds like he should have been second.
Marshy, would you like a recount of the votes, Marshy?
No, I don't think it was one of those situations.
So he was third. He was second in the NCAA in passing, in receiving touchdowns. He was sixth in receiving yards. And as they said, he's playing every snap. He's not missing a snap. He's starting on defense as well.
Carey, you played in the NFL and you thought Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman?
I did.
What position did you play?
I played running back.
Not tainted. Yeah, but did you play running back and linebacker?
I did not. I wouldn't have made it.
All right. If Dylan Gabriel won it, then we'd have something to talk about.
First of all, how did Dylan Gabriel get more votes than Cam Ward?
Somebody was drunk.
Yeah. Well, you got
the same people voting for that.
There goes your vote thing.
What do you mean?
It's all right, Andy.
Go ahead. What's the text? What's the text?
Oh, the 636 says, sorry for getting everyone riled up.
No.
We
appreciate it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that, it would have been something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. You know what, Marsh? Give us those game 15 notes, huh? Those NFL Week 15 game notes. Yeah. Can you hit those with us?
I can hit those.
Right in the face. All right.
He wants to do that right now for sure.
I'm looking right at your forehead.
Hang up and all listen.
It's gonna hit you like a pool wall, Anthony.
Wow. Your eyes are closed. That hurts. Marshy's Week 15 game notes next on 101 ESPN. Head out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum because right now you can look for massive year-end dealer discounts, like up to almost $12,000 off MSRP on select new Nissan models. They've got low financing rates going on and over 700 vehicles, both new and used, all in one location out in Herculaneum with discounted prices on every vehicle in stock. Again, it's Auto Centers Nissan's massive year-end dealer discount saving days. Low financing rates like 0% APR for 60 months on a brand new Rogue. Available no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans or no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles. As always, this is some of the best offers at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum that they always have. Qualified new new and used vehicles come with their complimentary lifetime warranty, so you have a little peace of mind when you drive that vehicle off the lot. Plus, all new Nissans come with a 30-day return promise, and no one offers this option, with 3 free oil changes included through their Nissan Maintenance Care Plan. Tell them Stalter sent you when you head out to Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan and AutoCentersNissan.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues pick up 3 points out of a possible 4 over the weekend. They go to overtime with the Dallas Stars and lose 2-1 on Saturday, but they come back and went on home ice against the New York Rangers, 3-2 the final last night. They'll take on the New Jersey Devils tomorrow, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Tonight we have Vikings-Bears Monday Night Football. Pregame starts at 6:30, and we're going to dive into some more NFL game notes for Week 15 coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time for Andrew Marsh's Week 15 NFL game notes. We heard from Jamie. Jamie discussed the Bills and the Lions and the Buccaneers. What do you got for us, Marsh?
All right. This always puzzles me. I have a question for all of you. How hard is it to hold on to the football as you're running into the end zone? We saw that twice yesterday. First in the Bengals-Titans game, and then in the Colts-Broncos game. And if the Colts miss the playoffs, we can have, Jonathan Taylor to thank. They can have him to thank for not holding on to the football. Yes, Jamie.
I have a question for Carey.
Yes, sir.
Since you played in the NFL and you're a Super Bowl champion, why, to further Marshy's question, why do you do that? Like, I've seen celebrations, lots of celebrations in my lifetime. I'm 49, going to be 50 in March, Carey. I've seen a lot of football celebrations. I don't know why this one is a thing. Like, you make damn sure you're across that line before you spike the ball. At least spike the ball, you got it in your hand in the end zone. Well, throw it to the fans because you got it in the end zone. You start dropping that, acting all cocky and crap like that. Like, I've seen it happen like 3 times in the last calendar year.
It's probably happened 3 times in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
What are they doing? Well, as a coach, do you just want to just like...
Yeah, you lose it a little bit because the guy for the Bengals, he dropped his. He was trying to exchange hands and carry it with one hand in. So that was a mistake. He was just trying to...
Okay, that's a mishandle.
He mishandled it.
Yes.
Jonathan Taylor, he felt like, I'm in the end zone. Dropped it. You shouldn't do it. Is happening more often. I remember Deshaun Jackson did it some years ago.
Who's coaching this to these kids?
Nobody. They are. It's. You're excited.
Give me that guy's name.
You're excited as you're going into the end zone and you forget to take the ball across the goal line. It has happened multiple times this season.
Is it hard to score touchdowns in the NFL?
It's very hard.
So one would probably think you don't just give them away, right?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor was sick. Like he was like.
Oh no! Don't tell Anthony that.
He was very no, not that kind of sick.
He is?
Nah, he was sick about it. Sick that he made the mistake. He was sick to his stomach.
Be careful.
Okay. All right.
That
Good.
He dropped the ball before he got into the end zone.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not great.
It's annoying.
Marshy.
It's terrible.
It's bad.
The poor guy who bet on that game.
Like if you are, that's why you shouldn't. Yeah, do that on sports. You don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, you.
Okay.
So, like me. You see where I'm at.
Polish up that halo,
Carey. You talk about the Colts. They just punted the playoffs. I don't think they were good. They were going to get there anyways. Now they're definitely not. Jonathan Taylor going in the end zone. He throws back. How about the play call that Shane Steichen had?
That was terrible.
Where Richardson throws it to Mitchell, and Mitchell. He's trying to find the laces. He finds the laces, throws back, and then Nick Bonanito takes it. Like he comes in.
Here's the thing.
Second pick 6 of the year for him.
When you are running those trick plays, because I've been the halfback toss, the halfback throw guy in college, and I've done that before. You are, and we saw this with Penei Sewell a few weeks ago. If it ain't there, you don't do it. You tuck it and you run it. If it's a 5-yard loss, you do that. It's okay. You don't make it. You don't say, I got my chance. And as a coach, you generally only give those plays to the players that you know are smart enough to make a decent decision if all things break down. And so that was just a bad decision. I can't blame the coach for that because I can all but guarantee you that the conversation was had all week long, or however many weeks leading up to actually making that decision to call that play. Hey, man, if it ain't there, don't throw it. Hey,
I don't think he saw.
AD, if it ain't there, don't throw it. If it ain't clean, keep it.
That guy was not even in the picture, the TV frame.
Mitchell turned around, and as he was throwing, Nick Bonanito.
He came out of nowhere. What we see on TV is not nearly what he saw, and I'm sure if I put that player was much closer than what you would expect.
What? You're telling me that the dimensions on TV aren't real?
What? Not give you the.
You telling me that yellow line on the field isn't actually there?
It's not there, Marshy. Actually, nope.
Neither is
the green one when they try to get to the field goal.
I always love when somebody says well, why don't you just go to the line?
I can't see it.
It's not there.
It don't exist, man.
Wait, what?
Only you can see that yellow line. The first down
That's
line.
not on the field?
Sorry to inform you, Jamie.
I was
My
like, these
apologies.
guys do a great job of moving that yellow line around.
Not there. You trip over it if it were on the field.
Somebody has to pick it up every time. Move it quickly. Wow. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, you do.
My second game note is that the MVP race is over. Josh Allen is the NFL MVP. I don't need to see anything else. It's nothing against Saquon Barkley. I just saw Josh Allen throw an alley-oop pass that didn't even count, but I was like, wow, this guy is incredible. That entire game, every single play, I'm like, this guy's the MVP. And then he make another play, I'm like, this guy's the MVP. MVP.
I mean, Lamar Jackson did throw 5 touchdowns.
Against the Giants, I don't care.
Why do we talk?
Josh Allen's the MVP.
NFL team.
Ish.
Oh, gosh.
You know,
Ish.
Tim Boyle playing
I will say that maybe he probably did solidify it. Now you got, I think, 3 games left, 2 of them against the Patriots, and I think the Jets. If you go out there and stink in those games, there's no way you can win it. But if you go out there and beat them because it's just the Jets, like they are just the Giants or just the Patriots, like it's just the Giants.
The Giants are in a way different category.
They got the same. The Giants' record is worse than the Jets.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
The Giants are worse.
I saw Aaron Rodgers throw a ball across the field to Devontae Adams yesterday.
I love that Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 games has completely lit up.
He said, "The hell with it.
Good to go.
I'll be back next year. Watch it. Watch and see." Yeah, you got to face those Jets. I don't think it matters.
I don't think so either.
It means absolutely nothing.
Nope.
He's probably MVP.
My final note is right on cue, Patrick Mahomes with an ankle injury heading into the final stretch of the season. It seems like that happens every year. Why was he in the game?
Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
I didn't have a problem. I mean, at that point, to me, at that point in the game, it wasn't.
How much time was
left? I think 8 minutes left.
And it was
Because
21
I
to 7.
Yeah, I think when Wentz came in, it was 5 minutes left in the game. So,
your boy.
It's not. It's that game is not.
Gonna win a Super Bowl this year.
The Browns
finished.
turned the ball over 6 times.
And they were still only down by 2 scores.
That's welcome to Jameis Winston's world.
They took him out. Like, it was bad.
We've seen
he was terrible.
Yeah,
we've seen enough of this.
They're like, oh no, yeah. Jameis, we love you. You can't keep doing this. I told you he was gonna give you 2 or 3. That's his MO. He gave them 4.
Yeah.
Well, he gave him 3, and Nick Chubb put 1 on the ground.
Which I feel, man, he's injured again.
That was a great play though by Bolden.
It was. Yeah.
When Bolden went off.
Punched it out.
He hit it back to Nick Chubb midair and then took it from him. That was a great play.
It was a tough play.
Do you think if Pat Mahomes, if he is out for, let's just say 2 games, I highly doubt it. He'll probably be back next week.
Yeah.
But if he's out, does that change things in the NFC, the AFC? Do you think Carson Wentz could put on his socks?
No.
And go win a few games for the Chiefs?
I actually think the Chiefs should rest Mahomes for the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't play him. You don't need to. You're making the playoffs anyways. You're going to get the bye, right? They've solidified that, have they not?
They've solidified the AFC West.
The bye. They still need to win out
because the Bills are
right there.
No, but
only one team gets the bye.
Okay, not a bye. You get a home field, right?
Yeah, they are the division. They're going to win the division.
Yeah. So when I look at that, they're 13-1. Let's say they lose 2 and win 1, so they end up being 15-3 on the season, right?
14-3.
14-3. That's right. 14-3. I mean, you're fine. I don't know. And
you don't get the bye though.
But you have your quarterback. So you go for the bye and risk the best quarterback in the league?
I think they should do it.
I mean, he's got a high ankle sprain. So what is that, Carey, typically? High ankle sprain?
2 to 4 weeks. It depends on how long.
Sit him out.
Yeah.
Hey, if Carson Wentz can't get this team going, nobody can, okay?
Who they got next week?
Probably a crap team.
Is it the Raiders?
The Raiders. No, I think they played the Raiders.
No, they've got the Texans. Texans, Steelers, Broncos.
Texans.
Oh.
Yeah.
3 serious games.
Yeah. They can lose that game.
I think Mahomes is playing.
I don't think he's playing next week.
I wouldn't
play him.
Oh, he'll play.
I wouldn't play him.
4 tutties. Probably not.
4 tutties.
It's fast on 101 ESPN.
Was it 2022?
Yeah. Advice with 4. Marsh is taking shots now. He's upset with me.
He's been upset.
He's real upset with me. Normally, Marsh will throw a shot, but I'm taking multiple shots now because
you almost broke Barry Sanders' record, Anthony.
it's upset. He's so upset.
He's so upset.
On a Vikings Monday Night Football game day.
They'll probably lose tonight.
No, they're not going to lose.
Wow, he's really mad now.
They're going to win. I'm just shocked you're not. You get your Vikings hat on. You're all excited.
I am
today.
excited. I'm excited to see old man Sam go do his thing.
He's not that old.
He was.
Well, that's
playing.
what Carey's
That was his
nickname for him.
But Carey's back down on that. No, he hasn't. Speaking of Carey, we got advice with former athletes. We do this every Monday. If you want to ask our former athletes a question, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. Advice with former athletes next.
Drinking and driving will change your whole world. Whether you get pulled over or get into a crash, things will never be the same. Getting a sober ride will change your world for the better. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, with the holidays here, we've got the perfect gift idea. What about Sound Story? Sound Story is an hour-long interview that one of us from either 101 ESPN or one of the other various hosts do for, a 1-hour interview with your mom or your dad, in which your mom or your dad or a loved one, could be a grandparent maybe, they tell their life story, making sure that you and your children have those memories forever. And now, new to the 2024 holiday season, Sound Story is offering the option of a video interview to make sure both the stories and the images are preserved. It's a gift that you're never going to regret giving. It's a gift that everyone in your family will love. And when you go to mysoundstory.com and enter the promo code ESPN, you're going to get a special of 10% off a holiday gift card for Sound Story. That's promo code ESPN at mysoundstory.com. But again, with the holidays here, if you've been thinking about, well, I don't really know what to, get the family, get somebody special in your family, set up that Sound Story interview, and you'll have an opportunity to share that with your entire family. Again, mysoundstory.com, promo code ESPN.
Blue Note Roofing is a BBB-rated, locally owned company committed to customer satisfaction.
Give me some advice, quick.
So we have advice with former athletes each and every Monday. If you ever wanted to ask a former athlete about a situation, either from their playing careers or something that you just always had top of mind.
Just anything.
Yeah, or anything.
Yeah,
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Marsh, what do we got for today?
All right, from the 619 CD, I've been coaching youth football and basketball for a couple of years now. I was thinking about getting into high school coaching next. Do you have any good advice for taking that next step?
Yeah, I mean, if you are near a high school, go talk to the high school coach. We always need qualified people that are willing to help out. It may start off as an unpaid situation, or if they have positions available for pay, you might be able to do that as well. You can also look online. There's always high schools that are posting coaching jobs that are available. Have your resume show that you've been coaching at the youth level for some time, and have some insight onto how to go about those things. But high school, you'll never run out of opportunities to coach high school at the high school level, whether it's basketball, football, whatever sport it is, because coaches in high schools always need that assistance. So, but don't turn it down because it might not be paid. And trust me, you're not getting paid a lot anyways when you do it. But yeah, be willing to work and help out in any way possible, any way needed.
This is an interesting one from the 618. Were you guys ever stalked by a fan?
Oh, so I did have, I wouldn't say I was stalked. There was a guy in Atlanta pretending to be me.
What?
Yeah, he was dating this woman.
That's weird.
And my friend who was in Chicago at the time was friends with this woman. I was no longer in Atlanta. I would think I was in Tampa at this time. And this is 2005. Internet is accessible, clearly, but not to the extent that it is now. And this young lady was like, yeah, I'm dating this guy, Carey Davis, and da-da-da. And the friend was like, you dating Carey? She's like, yeah. And my friend was like, you sure you're dating Carey? She's like, yeah, he's a great guy. He used to play for the Falcons. And my friend said, let me see a picture. And so she showed him the picture. She said, that ain't Carey Davis at all. So it was a guy telling people he was Carey Davis playing for the Falcons.
Wow.
He pulled this young lady, and she was all in.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't me. So my friend sent the girl a picture of me, and she's like, this.
And then how long did you date after that?
I stayed away from it.
She got catfished.
She did get catfished. Yeah.
She got Carey fished.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's creepy. Yeah. And it just so happened that my friend it was weird. That's how.
He's a nice guy, though.
I don't know who he was. He was a stranger. Stranger danger. Shouldn't impersonate people.
No, you shouldn't.
No, how about you, Jamie?
Well, I had a couple things happen to me in my lifetime. Had a very, very nice female person here in St. Louis that gave me a personal escort home every night after every game. And I didn't ask for it. She'd follow me. I got on like the third time. I'm like, that same car is following me again. And then finally, like I lived in a building where I had security at the front door. So, you had to, the security guard would have to call my apartment in order to let somebody in and whatnot. And so she finally got enough nerve up one time, I guess, try and come in and say, Jamie's expecting me. And, I forget what his apartment number is, And also he's like, yeah, okay, hang on there, sweetie. Dials it up and say, hey, there's a girl. I'm like, wait a minute, tell me what she looks like. Described her. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not here. He goes back, says, he's not here. She goes, oh, no, I know he's here. I followed him. Oh. He's like, you're going to have to leave now. And then I actually had to get, like, security from the team involved in this because it's before internet and stuff like that. Like, I was like, what do you do? Like, someone just following you. Like, what if she gets upset that I'm ignoring her and wants to, like, well, if I can't have you can't have anybody. Yeah, like, so that was.
I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby.
But yeah, that was one situation that got regulated, and then there was another one where a girl kept sending pictures to the locker room. Like, this was before, like, email. Yeah, like I'm sure email may have been around, but like,
To get autographed?
No, not quite. And you go through.
Didn't want you to sit nose back.
You're going through your mail, and I'm like, oh. She's photogenic anyways, right? And it just kept getting like escalating, and I never responded. Like I was kind of like, okay, I don't. If someone's this daring, like there's no chance I want to be associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, just say no. And then finally, at near the end of the season, I'm going through mail or whatever you call fan mail. Like, you know, you get a stack of things, you know. And I'm going through, and I open up this one like manila envelope, and it's like this whole bunch of paperwork and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Open up, there's like tickets and all this stuff. There's a letter. Oh, my dad bought you a ticket to go to Vegas with me, and here's the hotel that he paid for and all this stuff. I never talked to this person.
Oh, what?
And she like acted like we were in a relationship.
How was the trip?
I did think about it. No, I didn't actually, because I was at this point. I was like, because the wording of the letter was like we were going out.
Yeah,
I'd never talked to her. I've never even met her.
Yeah. And the letters were all cut out of magazine.
It was weird. Yeah,
glued on.
Love me or die.
Yeah.
In there. You know, no, that
Decipher
wasn't
the code.
So those are the two that stick out the most for me for obvious reasons. And you know, I was just like, okay. And I remember talking to my brother about it because he's older, and I'm like, dude, like, what do I do? He's like, get the hell away from that stuff. And so again, I had to talk to the Blues security guy, that your liaison that they give you, and you had to go in with the cops and like sort through this. And eventually, they actually got in touch with the girl's father, who had no idea that
your daughter is doing this.
He had no idea that we weren't in a relationship. He was like thinking he's like, oh, my daughter's dating Jamie Rivers.
Oh my God,
man.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have to get her dad involved.
What, Carey?
I would be like, what the hell did I do? What's going on here?
But what do I do?
I don't blame you. I'm just like, oh, that was probably. Now you
I'm
really
sure
start
she's a
to
nice
get the
person.
letters.
I'm sure she's living a wonderful life right now.
Nah.
No idea.
Somewhere. This woman has Jamie's pictures
on a whiteboard. Not yet, Jamie. But in time.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, it's time for the Gauntlet.
They asked.
Playoff Gauntlet is next. Here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
All right, the Gauntlet playoffs continues here in the Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN, where it's 4:06. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So, we welcome back Jared, who won himself a trophy as well this year. What's up, Jared?
How you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for coming back. Congratulations again on the trophy. So you're back for the playoffs, which means you have an opportunity to either choose your category or your opponent. What would you like to do?
I'm going to choose the category.
All right. What category would you like?
Football.
Football is the category. So we have to find out who your opponent is. So go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel, Marsh.
All right. So we've had one of these before, and it landed on Marsh or landed on Carey?
Landed on me.
Well, you're a prophet, Anthony.
Wow. Interesting. The wheel chose Andrew Marsh today. So you're going to get Andrew Marsh in football. How do you feel about that, Jared?
Oh, it'll be a tough matchup. Last time we faced off in hockey, it was a crazy one, so it'll be fun.
Jared went the professional route, did not give any bulletin board material.
No,
This is a true
champion.
champion.
He thought about it for a second.
This is a true champion. I don't even think he did.
I didn't like his tone.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, Marshy, Jared sounds like a great guy.
I know.
Yeah. And you know what?
That's all I need.
Travis Hunter should have won the Heisman.
I'm getting out of here.
It was clear. Fire him up here. All right, so Marsh is going to make his way into the cone of silence. Jared, you're going to give 4 football-related questions today. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, question 1. How many teams have never participated in a Super Bowl?
Ooh, okay.
How many teams have never participated in a Super Bowl?
Okay, participate. Give me a second. Let me talk this through. So it's the Texans, Jaguars, Lions. Okay, so that's 3 off the top of my head. Browns. I'm trying to go as quick as I can. I don't want to take too much time.
No.
Make it think I'm cheating.
No, we can hear the typewriter when people or the computer keyboard. The typewriter.
Wow. And we can hear friends in the background when they talk.
Yeah,
Everybody needs friends.
Absolutely. Okay.
We'll give you a little time here.
Okay. So AFC North got that. So NFC East is the entire division. They've all been. NFC South, Falcons, Bucks, Panthers, and Saints. They've all been. So I think that's all of them. AFC East. Is somebody? Okay. I'm going to go with the 4 that I had. I can't think of any more at the top of my head. The options aren't going to help. It's probably around there. So I'll go with 4. Final answer.
All right. Jared, question 2. Name the AFC team that has played in only 2 Super Bowls, but they've won them both.
Won them both. Okay. The 2 and 1 both. Would that be the Dolphins? Let me get the options on that one just to be safe.
Sure. Is it the Indianapolis Colts, the New York Jets, or the Baltimore Ravens?
I'm glad I didn't think that. So, it's not the Colts. Lost one. And what were the other 2 options? I'm sorry?
The Jets or the Ravens?
Jets or the Ravens? Let me go with the Ravens. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Patriots have played in an NFL record 11 Super Bowls. Tom and Brady.
Tom and Brady.
Tom Brady is 6-3. Drew Bledsoe 0-1. And which other quarterback is 0-1 in Patriots Super Bowl history?
I don't need the options. I have no idea.
Is it Tony Eason, Steve Grogan, or Jim Plunkett?
Oh, boy. I have absolutely no idea. We will flip a coin. Let's go with the third option, Jim Plunkett. Final answer.
All right, Jared, final question for you. Along with the Patriots, which team has suffered the most losses in the Super Bowl, having lost 5 times?
Final answer.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The Denver Broncos.
All right, let's tell Marsh to come on back here. How you feeling, Jared?
Okay.
All
right. Not giving us anything, are you?
That's, I guess.
All right, Marsh, focused, ready, energized, perhaps. He's back from the cone of silence. Marsh, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, yeah, he is. He's focused. He's locked in. You already know your category. It's football, so
yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Better pack a lunch too, kid.
Okay.
All right. How many teams have never participated in the Super Bowl? How many teams have never participated in a Super Bowl?
I think it's 5. Final answer.
All right, Marshy, question 2. Name the AFC team that has played in only 2 Super Bowls but won them both.
The only AFC team to play in 2 Super Bowls and won them both. Well, I think it's the Baltimore Ravens. They won against the Giants, and then they beat the 49ers. So I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Patriots have played in an NFL record 11 Super Bowls. Tom Brady is 6-3. Drew Bledsoe is 0-1. And which other quarterback is 0-1 in Patriots Super Bowl history?
Jeez, it would have been that 85 team. Options.
Is it Tony Eason, Steve Grogan, or Jim Plunkett?
I don't even know any of those except for Jim Plunkett, so we'll go with him. Final answer.
All right, final question, Marsh. Along with the Patriots, which other team has suffered the most losses in the Super Bowl, having lost 5 times?
5 times. Could be the 49ers. They've lost 3. I know that for sure. But I don't know anything. I don't know if they lost in other ones. Can't imagine them with old Joe Montana going undefeated, you know? Steve Young won a few. Why do I feel like it's the Minnesota Vikings? Let's use the options.
The Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills, or the Minnesota Vikings?
I think the Bills only lost 4. Who the other one? The Broncos?
Yeah.
I don't think they've...
Broncos, Bills,
I don't
Vikings.
think it's the Broncos. Well, I'll go with the Vikings. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. The Patriots have played in an NFL record 11 Super Bowls. Tom Brady is 6-3. Drew Bledsoe is 0-1. And which other quarterback is 0-1 in a Patriots Super Bowl? Jared, you took the options. You said, I don't know any of these guys. Jim Plunkett was your answer. Marsh, you took the options. You said, I don't know. The only guy I know is Jim Plunkett. Jamie, which quarterback lost to Jim McMahon in the 1985 Super Bowl?
Well, Jim Plunkett was a quarterback, did win a Super Bowl with the Raiders. Don't think he ever played for the Patriots. No, that quarterback was Tony Eason.
Tony Eason.
Illinois.
Illinois' finest.
There you go.
Tony Easton. 0-0 between Marsh and Jared today. Name the AFC team that has played in only 2 Super Bowls and won both. You guys both said the Baltimore Ravens. Correct answer is...
That is the Baltimore Ravens.
But Marsh did not need the options on that one, so Marsh is a 2-1 lead. We won't dock you for saying Giants instead of the 49ers.
What?
They won the Harbaugh Bowl. You said they beat the Giants and they beat the
49ers.
It doesn't matter. He still got the
wait. No, they did. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. It's the 2000 Super Bowl. Yeah. My bad. I know. It's my fault. I apologize, Marsh.
He was correct.
He was correct. I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. I apologize.
You got to be careful, Anthony.
I was thinking the 49ers. That's my fault.
It was the 49ers.
My bad.
Okay.
49ers and Giants.
Anthony,
I was hung up on the Giants.
I forgive you.
Thanks, Marsh. You're now up 2-1.
Thanks.
Good job, Marshy.
Wait, everybody's sensitive right now. Along with the Patriots, which team has suffered the most losses in the Super Bowl, having lost 5 times? Marsh, you said the Vikings. Jared, you said the Broncos. Correct answer is...
Denver Broncos.
Jared did not need the options on that.
Oh, no.
Jared with a 1-point lead. It comes down to this.
Damn.
How many teams have never participated in a Super Bowl? Neither of you used the options. Marsh, you said 5. Jared, you said 4. The options were 4, 5, and 6. Jared is a 1-point lead. If it's either 4 or 6, Jared wins and he advances. If it's 5, Marsh wins because he didn't use the options. Carey, how many teams have never participated in a Super Bowl?
4.
Jared.
You have chosen wisely.
Nice job, Jared.
Good job, man.
5-2. You beat Marsh today. 5-2.
He went through those. He went through those teams.
You rattled off 3 right away.
The process. Sometimes you gotta.
Yeah. I got the first 3, and then it was like, okay, I had 4. I'm like, I felt like I'm forgetting one. Then Marshy said 5. I'm like, great. Which one did I forget?
Honestly, Jared, I was waiting for you to do like the human. Like I would have done that where I'm like, I can remember 4. There's got to be one more. Give me 5.
Yeah,
but you stuck with the 4.
I had the 4. I'm just kind of like I ran through the divisions. I'm like, I can't think of anybody. If there is one, there's one. Whatever.
Nice job.
The
Jaguars, Browns, Texans,
and
Lions. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, hey, Jared, you'll be back after we finish round 1 because you've advanced to round 2 of the playoffs. Nice job.
Good job, Jared.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All right. There you go. That's Jared. Sorry, Marshy.
That's all right.
Is Jackson here?
I don't know if Jackson's here.
Oh, crap.
You're going to have to go to the penalty
son
box.
of a gun.
Marshy.
We're fine.
Yeah.
I'll handle it.
I mean, all I got to do is pot us up.
And then when we're ready to come back, you just come back and you just walk over.
Yeah.
So we'll be fine. It'll be good. We all have dump buttons, so.
Yeah. I don't know how to use mine, so.
It's that bright red one.
I got you covered.
I've learned not to touch things that are bright red, so I just stay away from it.
Really?
Yeah.
What's bright red?
The do not touch buttons, like in the cartoons, do not touch. It's usually bright red, and then people touch it, and then things break down.
You see a lot of those in your life?
I've seen a few. Yeah. Okay. You don't know my story, Jamie.
No, I'm learning. Apparently, you had a summer job at Nassau.
Hey, you never know.
I've seen things. I'll tell you about it later.
I've seen things make Billy go puke.
Are the Blues Stars finally playing like stars, and why? That's next on 101 ESPN. I always enjoy going to the Missouri Athletic Club when it comes to the West Clubhouse. I love getting my workout done there, meeting friends and stuff for lunch, and just kind of getting my work done. But when it comes to either locations, either the downtown or the West Clubhouse of the Missouri Athletic Club, when we can involve the family, whether it's around the holidays or, get an opportunity a couple months ago to take the kids to trunk or treat. Missouri Athletic Club, they do events right. Their speaker series downtown is always fascinating when they bring people in to talk about their industry or their life. And again, it's always phenomenal when it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club and the opportunities and events that they put on each and every month. That's Miami C, Missouri Athletic Club.
Down the near wing. They put it in the middle off of Cooley. And they slide through, bump into the goaltender. Blues break it out. Broberg's going to go with Thomas. Creates a quick 2-on-1. Thomas score! 3-0 Blues. Robert Thomas, high glove on quick. 9:32 to go. Period number 2.
Chris Kerber on the call. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Curbs, you hear him again tomorrow as the Blues take on the Devils. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We kind of touched on this a little bit in the first segment of the show today, but Jordan Kyrou, you saw this yesterday. Jordan Kyrou scored. Pavel Buchnevich scored. Robert Thomas scored. And, Jamie, you had broke down how well Robert Thomas has played. We discussed, and Marshy's heading to the penalty box after losing to Carey.
Hey, Marshy.
Test.
Yep, you're good to go.
Yep.
Great.
You can't hear us, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Can you?
Yeah.
Did they fix it?
I mean, I can hear you like just without the headphones.
Can you hear
That
yourself?
makes sense.
No.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
There's the punishment. Yep.
Yeah, it's back.
Jamie,
Yeah.
The Blue Stars,
Yeah.
they seemingly are playing like stars. The question is, Jim Montgomery, what has he done to unlock these guys?
Yeah,
if
I
anything?
don't know if it's necessarily unlock it. I think that what he's done is given them back the power to go and be creative with certain responsibilities also in line with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Jim Montgomery, it can't just be all or nothing, your play. He's a lot like Craig Berube, believe it or not, where Craig Berube was just fine with the creativeness until the creativeness got to be something he didn't need to do and cost you goals.
Right.
And at that point, then you need to slow it down or dumb it down, for lack of better words. And I think all he's doing with these guys is focusing on making good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
If you have room to cook, as the kids say, go do it. Do whatever the hell you want. But if it ends up being a dumb play or a bad play and it costs us goals, then we're not going to do that play again. Mm-hmm. So it's not like reprimanding the player for being a certain way. He's encouraging them to use their talents because that's what got him here. Kyrou, Thomas, Buchnevich are phenomenal talents. That's what got him here. You're not going to turn them into defensive players all of a sudden overnight, even though they're responsible defensively. Jordan Kyrou is his best season defensively that he's having. Yeah. And the numbers aren't like great, but they're good. But you can see an effort. Every game he's got a couple of back-checking steals. He's got a couple of finished hits. He gets in on the forecheck a little bit. And one thing, too, that I just discovered is that Jordan Kyrou now has done something that has not been done in the St. Louis Blues organization in 30 years. He has an 11-game point streak going.
Wow.
And I just opened that up. Our by Sweet Lou Korak had it on Twitter. I didn't even realize that. So Jordan Kyrou has an 11-game point streak going, which obviously starts the game before Jim Montgomery took over. But when you're watching him play, it just seems different. Mm-hmm. And Robert Thomas seems like he is a man on a mission. And like I said, I don't know if that has anything to do with not making the Canadian team or if he's just motivated or that Monty's back and these guys are really happy. But Monty did have a really good connection specifically with Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, and Pavel Buchnevich, his first go-around here with the Blues. And maybe if nothing else, it's unlocked the way they felt then.
Yeah.
And maybe since that point, they've had some struggles, or maybe they've butted heads with head coaches or philosophies or whatever. And now they're playing, in my opinion, to the maximum of their abilities. Mm-hmm. And the best part about it, what I like is Monty mixes it up. One game, you have Kyrou, Thomas, Buchnevich together. The next game, it's Kyrou, Shen, Holloway, or Kyrou, Shen, and Neighbors. And Neighbors jumps up, plays with Thomas and Buchnevich. Like, he's moving some of the pieces around here so that it doesn't ever feel like it's getting stale. Yeah. Or that you're just completely loading up one line and that's it. If they don't score, well, we tried.
Right.
Well, Monty moves the pieces around, and by doing that, he's showing confidence in all of these guys that they can play with whoever, whenever. Mm-hmm. And I'm just seeing a different group of players. Just damn. Jordan Kyrou in particular. He looks calm. He looks confident. He's playing with purpose. Back-checking, stealing pucks, like doing things that just haven't been there before.
Marsh, from the penalty box, I think you'd be remiss if we didn't get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'm just over here so I don't get fined.
Yep.
But no, I think last night the play in which Jordan Kyrou scored, I think that right there in a nutshell is the difference of what we're seeing. Just outworking his man. We always talk about like board battles and puck battles and all these different things. That's really where you start to see like the effort. Essentially, like, breaking out passes and stuff. We talked about it last week. Like, it's going to happen. Like, you're not going to connect on everything. It's a game about mistakes, and it's just which team doesn't make the most mistakes ultimately ends up winning. But when you see those puck battles, that's really where you start to see, like, the effort kick in. And I thought last night when he stripped the puck, who was at Lindgren, made him look like a fool. New York Ranger Twitter was hilarious. Or Jacob Trouba, what about this guy? But Jordan Kyrou goes in, and that's another thing that we haven't really seen, at least at the beginning of the year, is him capitalizing on those breakaway opportunities. And last night he did, and ultimately it to me, we're just seeing a different Jordan Kyrou, stripping pucks. Just it's the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Now, you mentioned the 11-game point streak. That is showing up on the stat sheet, and that's what he's paid to do. But the little things that you might not key in on as a fan just watching the game, like those are the things that are jumping off the page if you're like really, really watching.
And he's shooting the puck a lot more. How many times do we see a start of this season, last year, or whatever, the year before, where Jordan Kyrou gets the puck in a perfect spot to shoot and he passes it out of a scoring area, looking for something better. Right now, whatever Monty's telling him, which I'm pretty sure it's, hey, you're one of our best goal scorers, if not the best goal scorer, which means you should be shooting the puck. Like, you are the best option. So even if we have a guy that's wide open over there, you're still the best option. And you're seeing that. When he gets in that bumper spot in the power play and they get it to him, he's shooting it right away. The other night, Robert Thomas threw the penalty kill, one-timer, shoots it right away. Like, no hesitation. And I think that's paying off. And I think by Jordan realizing that he's able to do that, it's boosted his confidence even more.
All right, let's continue our Blues conversation with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, who will join us next here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
It's holiday time right now, and I'm going to talk to you about the perfect gift idea for your family. That's called Sound Story. What Sound Story is an hour-long interview with your mom, your dad, your grandpa, maybe even yourself. Maybe you have a story to tell that you want your kids to hear. And what happens is you tell all of the stuff. Growing up, your high school, maybe you played football, college, maybe there's fraternity or sorority that you were a part of, and you want to pass on all these stories to your children, their children, your cousins, whatever. Sound Story gives you that opportunity as they digitally record your interview, and you can preserve it forever. And right now, Sound Story has a special holiday discount of 10% off. And that's at mysoundstory.com. All you have to do is enter ESPN and the promo code. And now, this holiday season as well, Sound Story's offering the option of a video interview. Now you get to both the video and the audio, and that, of course, is preserved forever as well. So please just go to mysoundstory.com, enter promo code ESPN to get this special of 10% off a holiday gift card for Sound Story. That's promo code ESPN at mysoundstory.com. For you, for them, forever.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues get 3 out of a possible 4 points over the weekend. They lose to the Dallas Stars on the road in overtime by a final score of 2-1. And then they bounce back on home ice last night against the New York Rangers with a 3-2 victory. We're going to discuss your St. Louis Blues with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
That's right. Time to chat with our guy, Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic. He covers the Blues, and he joins us right now via the Thompson and Collier phone line. JR, how are you?
Doing well. I just want to say, for the record, I have never had a girl follow me home from a game, nor have I had somebody impersonate me trying to get a date.
Not yet, JR. Not yet. Yeah. There's still time.
Still time. We're holding on.
JR, what insights can you share with us when it comes to the Cam Fowler acquisition?
Yeah, I think this is, I've said for a couple of days, I think this is a good move for the Blues. And you listen to Elliot Friedman, who's got a real good grasp of the national scene. He says that he thinks the Blues have had interest in Cam Fowler dating back to last summer. Of course, that goes back to, when Torrey Krug had his situation, was he going to be able to play this year or not? And I think that Doug Armstrong wanted to bring in some depth, and they had a couple signings. They brought a couple guys in, and it turns out they're putting a lot of ice time on certain individuals, and now they are able to bring in Cam Fowler. And, I realize they're retooling, and they're bringing in young guys, and they're hoping that the future's bright with some young players. But in the meantime, they're trying to be a competitive playoff team, and I think Fowler can help.
JR, Brandon Saad, healthy scratch 2 games ago, and now I'm reading all over the place. Elliot Friedman, all the insiders talking about how Brandon Saad is ready to waive his no trade and the Blues are shopping him. How much can you confirm or debunk any of that right now?
Yeah, I believe it to be true, and I think this is a situation that's probably been developing a lot longer than we think. I think that Brandon Saad, does he fit into this team's plans? Well, when he's contributing and trying to kick in 20 goals like we've seen from him in the past, he's a player who can probably help get you into the playoffs. But he's just not doing that this year. He's close to 27, 28 games, and he's scored in just 2 of them. And so I think if he's not helping you get in the playoffs, then it's time to move on. But then it's that catch-22. If you're not producing, then what can you get for that player? I think at this point, Jamie, the Blues would be probably thankful to move him. Obviously, you don't want to pay much of that salary in terms of retention with 1 year left on his deal, but I don't think they're looking to get anything back necessarily, just maybe give time for these other players and clear some cap room that Saad has taken up.
JR, we were just talking about Jim Montgomery and how well the team has been performing since he's been here. But Jordan Kyrou seems to be a guy that has been unlocked. Jamie mentioned that he has 11 points in 11 straight games. What are you seeing from him in his play since Montgomery has been on the bench?
Yeah, that's a 11-game home point streak. So that goes back 30 years. Craig Janney, the last player to have that many games where he had a point, at least in one game, for 11 straight. So he's getting the job done. And, guys, I got to tell you something about Jordan Kyrou. We did an interview with him last night after the game, and he looks even more comfortable coming out and talking to the media than I've ever seen him before. He just walks and comes out not with a cockiness, but just more confidence in himself. And I think we're seeing that on the ice, too. And I don't need to tell you guys that Jim Montgomery walking through those doors, the success that he's had with Kyrou, Buchnevich, Thomas, they were elated that they were reunited with him. And I think he's unlocked some things in terms of the offense, not necessarily with these individual players, but just with the offense to give them more of an ability to be creative like they can be. And I think we're seeing it with all 3 of those guys. Kyrou with 4 straight games with a goal, 6 goals in his last 7. Thomas, an assist in 7 straight, and Buchnevich with a point in 9 straight. All these guys are getting the job done, and I think that Jim Montgomery has had a hand in this.
We're joined by Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. JR, we were having this conversation earlier. Interested to know your thoughts as well. The Stars game, kind of an interesting situation where do you think that the Blues, it kind of showed that there's still a gap between them and the top of the food chain in the NHL, yet conversely, Binnington displayed that he could steal a playoff series as well.
Yeah, I think so. And listen, I've done 5 or 6 interviews with Canadian radio stations in the past couple of weeks, and they all ask about Jordan Binnington and can he lead Team Canada to a gold at the Four Nations tournament. And, you know, I just try to tell them that, look, this is a big game goaltender. And Jordan Binnington has shown it not only in the Stanley Cup, but the past couple of years, too. People here in St. Louis know how good he's been for this team, and they don't get that point in Dallas, obviously, without Jordan Binnington. So does it show that they're, a step behind Dallas in terms of, where the two franchises are at right now? Obviously Dallas is a Stanley Cup contender this year, and the Blues got a lot of room to make up there, I think. But, on that particular night with a game that they didn't play very well, and they've played a lot, as Jamie knows here lately, a lot of road games. It's a tough game for them, but Binnington did play outstanding, got them a point, and I think that Canada's got themselves a real good goaltender for that Four Nations tournament.
JR, one of the moves, the corresponding moves while acquiring Cam Fowler was sending Matthew Kessel back down to Springfield. I personally don't believe that's performance-based. Obviously, it's a waiver thing. But what are you hearing out there as far as timeline for Matthew Kessel? Is he there for the foreseeable future, or do the Blues plan on making another move?
Well, I think when you look at Kessel's situation, he just hasn't been as physical as he was last year, and I think that was a little bit of his calling card. I think to see him come in as a young prospect and see him not necessarily throw people around, but just use his physicality, I think he opened some eyes last year, and everybody from Drew Bannister to Mike Weber, the assistant coach, to now Jim Montgomery has been trying to get that out of him this year. So, I don't think the performance has necessarily been there, but I agree with you that he is waiver exempt, so they didn't need to clear him through waivers to get him to the American Hockey League, so he was the easy target to move. And in terms of how long he's down there, I think that it's a roster situation with the Blues. When is Nick Leddy coming back? Is it a week? Is it 2 months? What is it? And who's healthy when Nick Leddy comes back? So I don't know that they're in a rush to get Matthew Kessel back, but I think it's going to be dependent on how everything shakes out with the roster and when Nick Leddy comes back. One last thing for you before we let you go here, JR. Radek Fox, almost a really serious injury there in many ways, for that matter. He was supposed to be back in Dallas, did not make the trip, did not play against the Rangers last night. Any idea on the timeline for him? Yeah, even when you say his name, I'm still cringing. A week later here after that incident in Vancouver. So he got that cut on the leg, which Jim Montgomery said was not too far from the privates, and he said originally that he could be a player in Dallas. Obviously, that wasn't the case, nor was it the case in the last game against the Rangers. But Jim Montgomery did say getting closer, and I would think that we'd see him back in the lineup this week, if not tomorrow against New Jersey.
JR, great stuff as always. We'll check back with you again next week.
Thanks, guys.
That's Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, at JP Rutherford on Twitter, if you want to check him out. All right. Carey got his Game 5. His Week 15 game notes on one. What?
Game 5 was the flu game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan? That's what he's thinking.
That's why I'm setting him up.
No, he's not.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking.
That's exactly what
The flu game.
It's a flu game.
Everybody knows that.
These are going to be Carey's best notes ever. Okay,
I
got to find them because I threw them away.
Oh, my goodness.
I've got them right here. What I don't see is your Steelers.
Don't worry about that.
Well, we didn't see them yesterday.
No, not offensively, we didn't.
No. Hey, you got a note on the Eagles, though.
Yeah.
Who beat the Steelers yesterday? All right, Carey's game notes next on 101 ESPN. hear from our resident Super Bowl champion, Carey Davis, his Week 15 NFL game notes right now in the Fast Lane.
So my first note that I have is, this is around the time where some teams are duking it out for playoff hopes and dreams and wishes and their playoff lives. Some teams are going out every single week trying to find a way to get, you get extra paychecks when you make it to the playoffs. They're trying to get those extra paychecks, right? And then there are some teams, Anthony, some teams that are trying to figure out if they're going to be picking first in the draft. And those teams, they don't really care about winning. The players do. Yeah. Ownership, not so much. And one of those teams will be the New York Football Giants that you said was a terrible team the other day, or earlier today, when they lost to the Baltimore Ravens over the weekend. That seems to be a team that is vying for that first overall pick, sitting at 2-12.
Yeah.
Them and the Las Vegas Raiders. And it was interesting to me. We talked a lot about the Heisman Trophy winner and being in New York and all of those things. Well, Shedeur Sanders was there too. And it was interesting. In New York City, has a guy playing catch in the middle of the street in New York.
I saw that.
Malik Neighbors.
What?
Imagine that.
Tampering.
Imagine that. You're here. You stink. You fired your quarterback earlier. You got two guys that, are playing quarterback for you now.
Yeah, they're listed at quarterback.
One guy got injured, ILL. Shout out to Tommy. But they're going to be looking for a quarterback. And to me, right now, it is an interesting time for some of these teams. Again, no player wants to lose because you as a player know, hey, if they get that first overall pick or if they could be drafting my position. They could be drafting the guy that's going to replace me. So you're not trying to lose. But some people in the front office might be like, what's best for the team? I'm interested to see how this final few weeks plays out and who does get that number one overall pick. Who do they decide to go with? Is it a quarterback? Is it the Heisman Trophy winner? And Travis Hunter, what player is going to be represented by that number one pick and by the number one pick and by what team?
If I'm the Giants, I'm losing every game between now and the end of the season. Like, any questionable decision I can make will happen. And then if I'm still not last place, I'm trading up. I'm talking to that team saying, listen, like, maybe they have a quarterback. Maybe that team has a quarterback.
They probably don't.
Probably not. That terrible.
The Raiders.
But then you're trading up. You're doing your best because Shedeur Sanders wants to be a New York Giant. You can tell that already. He's playing catch with Malik Neighbors. And Dion had said something about the Giants and stuff. Dion wants his kid in a big market. New York, obviously, is a massive market. I just think that's the guy, man. If you're the Giants, you have to go all in at this point on securing Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
No, you're
You got to get that
right.
first pick, though.
Yeah, you do.
You got to get because the Raiders are going to be looking for a quarterback as well.
Yeah, they are.
So those two teams
Vegas is pretty good too. I don't know if
yeah. Hey,
it's a great place to visit. I've never lived there.
It's a great place to live.
I've
talked to several people who live there. They love it.
My brother and sister-in-law live there.
Really?
Yeah.
A bunch of the Golden Knights guys love it. They say it's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And Carey, I mean, in fairness, I said that the Giants aren't a real NFL team right now. I didn't say that they're terrible.
I think that's essentially.
You said that at the beginning of the season.
Carey didn't, though. Carey thought they were going to the Super Bowl.
I thought that Daniel Jones had figured some things out.
He's like, here we go. Giants going to the Super Bowl.
Never said that.
Here we go. He did. He totally. I hear it. Now I hear it. You're right, Jamie.
Never said that.
Yeah.
All right, my second note from the weekend was the Los Angeles Rams may be the team that nobody wants to see. I know, Anthony, you haven't been high on their defense. You don't feel like they have enough firepower. They're younger. Obviously, the loss of Aaron Donald retiring over the summer. That losing the best player to probably play that position ever is going to bring your defense down a notch. But they are winners of their last 3 games. They beat the Buffalo Bills in a shootout a couple of weeks ago. They found a way out of no way to beat the 49ers 12-6 without scoring a touchdown. But offensively, with Puka, with Cooper Kupp, with Kyron Williams, and now Blake Corum starting to pick some things up, Matthew Stafford has been, one of the better quarterbacks his entire career. that might be the team, and they're probably going to win that division because the Seattle Seahawks don't want to win. The Arizona Cardinals aren't interested in winning the division, and they aren't. Nah.
All right.
Ask me next week, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because last week they weren't interested.
Better set a reminder because we'll never remember.
No chance.
And the 49ers physically can't do it because they're the Walking Dead. They got people that are just hanging on by a thread.
Which season?
Oh, season 2
because that showed.
So it went. That's another one. Like that's another show.
Into that. I always thought that was dumb.
No, it was a really good show. When they went and found Negan and that crew, that was. Let me tell you, Glenn. If you've never seen it, Glenn's incident. Whew, gut wrenching. You know.
I just never got into it, Anthony.
Yeah. No.
All right. Well,
it's no loss by any means.
That Glenn scene and Opie scene from Sons of Anarchy. Two of the most gut wrenching scenes in television history. If you know, you know. You two don't know.
I know about the Opie.
You know, Opie.
Yeah. That was a way better show than Walking Dead, though.
No,
Walking Dead, I watched one episode and I was like, who the hell watches this
Sons of Anarchy is probably one of my top 3.
I know, I feel bad for saying
3
that.
to 5 shows. No, it's a good show.
I remember telling my kids, don't watch that. It's crap.
But Glenn's situation is on par with what happened to Opie. If you felt that way about Opie, I'm telling you, Glenn was, that's a bit much for me. Either way. Yeah, I don't know how we got there, but the 49ers Walking Dead. The Rams are the team that nobody wants to see. Despite the young defense, I think offensively, when you got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, those two, you can't double team them. You can't allocate 4 people to those 2 guys. They'll run the ball at you. So, for me, that's a team that they have been rolling. They figured some things out offensively, and I like what they're doing. I think they're going to be a tough out come playoff time.
I think to your point about the Rams, I think that makes the NFC North situation that much more interesting about who wins that division because, you could still be a 3-loss team and then all of a sudden you're taking on the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, depending on how that shakes out, and you're on the road. Yeah. Like 2 teams that could absolutely beat you.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way about the Bucs. I think the Rams are dangerous. I think the Rams offensively are dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams are more dangerous than the Bucs are, in my opinion. Like that
Bucs offense is really
Bucs get no respect.
So for me,
fire them cannons.
Yeah, okay.
Carey's still mad at the Bucs.
I mean, they cut me twice, Jamie.
You know what? I don't blame
and
you.
you're a fan of that team.
Yeah.
That's your 3rd child.
Tough,
they
man.
cut me 2 times. And 1 was not enough. They said, "Come on back, fella."
Yeah.
Cut your ass again. Get out of here.
You know what? Happened to me, too. St. Louis Blues. They didn't cut me. They traded me.
See?
Which
twice.
See? They
knew that someone was stalking you.
I mean, they brought me back.
Yeah.
They brought me back.
They did.
And got rid of me again.
Yeah.
But you
they
came
did
back.
love me. No, they go away again.
And I still came back.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the next heartbreak now at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Kerr, what's your 3rd?
And then my last one is the Eagles will fight anyone. They'll fight their own teammates.
Yeah.
They'll fight you in the back of the end zone when you block them into the fan section. And then you all showed me the video earlier. They'll fight each other. They got coaches wanting to fight each other. I love it.
Oh, the player and the head coach.
Sign me up.
They should have just let everybody go.
Just go.
Imagine that. You're winning a game by like 2 touchdowns.
fighting on the sidelines.
You're
punching
looking over
somebody
at
in
the
the face.
Eagles.
Right.
And there's a brawl.
Yeah.
And then they all get up laughing.
Amongst themselves.
Like, let's get out of here.
Like, I don't want to play that
To
team.
me, that is a team. We talked about, I told you all, people fighting on the sideline is not anything new. It's going to happen. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Don't matter who it is. There's so much anger and energy and sometimes frustration that you do have to go back. Testosterone, you're going back and forth with guys. To me, I love it. That means you're passionate about what you're doing. When A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts had their ordeal, they made sure to let you know it ain't an ordeal. Jalen Hurts came into this press conference. Is that what y'all wanted to see? Like, I think they are embracing the heel role. Like, we're the bad guys? Okay, we'll be the bad guy. And we'll just punch people in the face.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Like, they feel like, to me, a team that doesn't mind doing it. And they're going to be a tough out as well. And if Detroit continues to have everybody getting hurt in the manner in which they will, Philadelphia's going to be the number 1 seed, and you're going to have to go through Philly to get to the Super Bowl. Good luck.
Not if these guys have anything to say about it.
Vikings, Minnesota, going to the
second round.
All right. Does a retool include a youth movement? And if so, why are teams like the Cardinals and Blues bringing in some of these old guys? I'll tell you why next.
To be here
on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, back with you here, joined by our good buddy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And Stewie, we talk a lot about different things and opportunities to get money back or get our money out. What can you tell me about cash out refinancing?
You know what, Jimmy? Cash is the name of the game. I want money. My wife wants money. Everybody wants money.
I want money.
What?
Yeah.
Sign us up. It makes a difference in your life. We just refinanced an ESPN listener. He was going to get a home equity line of credit with a local bank here in town. Realized from listening on the radio that this is an adjustable rate. It's hovering around 10%. You only pay the interest. You never gave anywhere on it. Made a U-turn, came to us. We paid off his credit card debts, his mortgage, everything. Saved him $1,600 a month. $1,600 a month. That's a fortune. His quality of life is going to be better, and he's got an extra $20,000 in his pocket. He is thrilled. You can be in the same position. You can change your life as long as you make the move and make it happen.
But you do have to give our guy Stewie a call or text him. He hands out his personal cell phone number for a reason. He wants you to call him day or night, doesn't matter. Stewie's always working. He wants you to have that old school customer service feel. 314-324-4440.
Again, that's 314-324-4440.
Again, call him day, night, doesn't matter. But you do have to pick up the phone and give him a call or a text to take advantage of this opportunity. He's Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. If you miss that phone number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN 504. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We were talking about the Cam Fowler trade earlier today. The Blues acquired the 33-year-old defenseman from the Ducks, and as Jamie pointed out, it's a perfect fit. He winds up eating up some of that ice time that, guys like Ryan Suter were playing, and now you get the best out of Suter because he's going to be back to being like a 15-minute-a-game guy, not what he was, like 19, 20. But with that, I think some fans confuse retool with youth movement. In some respects, they go hand in hand, but that doesn't mean that if you have an opportunity like this with Doug Armstrong to take advantage of a guy that's available, that you can acquire, the price was right, bring him in, upgrade your team, and help out. That doesn't mean that, then that's not a retool then because you're bringing in an older guy. I think some people are confusing this, Jamie, with bringing in Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson and Matt Carpenter, Brandon Crawford, and saying, well, hey, listen, we're not going to do a retool as much as we're still going for it. You're not going for it. You're bringing in old veteran guys because it's just like an old comforter that makes you feel better, right? Like, this is secure. We got an older veteran squad. We can rely on these guys. If you're blocking youngsters, that's, I think, a problem. But as you illustrated, Cam Fowler's not blocking anybody.
No, let's go over the whole roster for a second. As forwards are concerned right now, Army's done a great job of adding youth and developing youth. What forward right now, from a youth standpoint, is being blocked from the NHL roster? What forward that can make a difference to this team is being blocked? That's
the key. Because some people might bring up...
Bring up who?
Yeah, some people might bring up Perunovich or Kessel.
Yeah, but that's defenseman.
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked for forward.
Forward.
Nobody.
Not one guy. Yeah. Dvorsky's playing great in the American League. He's developing at a pace that they like. Yeah. He's not ready yet to be an everyday contributor at the NHL level.
Sure.
So nobody's blocking a forward. Snuggerud, teach me how to snuggie, is still playing college hockey with the Gophers right now. So nobody's blocking him.
Right.
So you don't have one potential game breaker being blocked by a forward.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what defenseman is being blocked?
That can make an absolute impact.
Yeah. Someone you can't, you need this guy in your lineup.
Yeah,
or you should be putting this guy.
Some people like Perunovich. Some people like Kessel.
Yeah,
I get that, but
I don't think they're being blocked. If they want to play more, then you play better.
Yeah, I don't think either of those guys being blocked. I do think Matthew Kessel is a valuable piece. I like him on the blue line. Contrary to what JR said, I thought he was coming around pretty good. The start of his season may have had a couple of bumps in the road, but the last handful of games, he's been physical, he's been tough, he's been strong. I can tell you that they did not want to send him down.
Yeah.
But they had to based on circumstances.
I was going to ask you, do you think he's played, because I know last year he played against Pittsburgh and you were really high. That was his first game.
Hey, he played top 4D for 7 games, 8 games in a row.
You were really high on him.
Yep.
Do you feel like he's played to that level so far this year?
At times. But
not consistently, though?
No, maybe not consistently. No, certainly not the beginning of the season. Again, I think that the last, handful of games, but that's the ones I count because you got a new head coach. I mean, otherwise we're going to, if you look back at other guys who played a certain way under Drew Bannister, but then you're like, under Montgomery, this guy's been great. So why can't we say the same thing about Matthew Kessel? And I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's a difference maker. But again, he's not a player that anybody's blocking. So it's not like Lindstein and those guys who are waiting to come up, and Army outlined that part. He says 2 or 3 years from now, those guys will be making a difference at this level.
Yeah.
So the value for me in having these veteran guys is you watch these guys. If you're the young guys, you watch these guys every day. You watch their preparation. You watch their workouts. You watch their game day preparation. You find out what a culture is. You cannot develop culture when you're losing all the time.
Yeah, great point.
You just can't. You can develop... I'll take that back. You can develop a culture, not the one you want.
Yeah, fair.
And so I think that when you're finally at the spot in a retool where you need to advance the ball, you got to bring in guys that can play alongside the youth to show them how to win, show them how to play winning hockey. Like you look at a guy like Ryan Suter. You don't think watching that guy play this year has helped a number of young guys, no matter what position they play?
Right.
He's 39 freaking years old and does whatever the team asks him to do. Blocks shots, hits guys, cross-checks guys, plays 25 minutes, plays 15 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got 1,400 plus games. So now, if you're a young guy, you go, okay, I need to do what the team needs me to do, and I need to do it every single day. Because if that guy can do it at his age, and he's been doing it a long time, then I should be doing what he does. That's how you develop that culture.
Yeah.
When we talk about, this guy is blocking this person and, bringing in Cam Fowler could block Perunovic or Kessel or whatever, could we almost say that like a guy like P.O. Joseph, whenever he gets into the lineup, is blocking like a Matthew Kessel or a Scott Perunovic based on his tenure in the league and where he fits in on this roster?
Yeah, you could almost say that. And I thought that for a little bit, especially when they signed P.O. Joseph. And then they signed Ryan Suter. I was like, okay, like now there's too many cooks in the kitchen. And they had Tyler Tucker on a one-way contract too. Like there was a lot of bodies around. But this seems to work itself out. And Scott Perunovic, I thought he had a good game last night. Didn't play very much in the third period with the game on the line. So that tells me something. It doesn't mean he's not playing well. It just tells me the coaching staff is not quite there on him being an everyday, every shift defenseman. Because otherwise he'd be playing regularly in the third period with the game on the line. So that just tells me the coaching staff thinks that he's P.O. Joseph, a healthy scratch. That tells me that they don't think he's an everyday defenseman either. So those guys aren't really blocking anybody. P.O. Joseph might be blocking Perunovic on certain nights, but then would Perunovic be playing in certain situations? Monty said it in a little presser yesterday. He said, we look at the matchups, we look at the teams, we look at what the style of play is, and we've adjusted accordingly to have either P.O. Joseph or Scott Perunovic in the lineup, depending on who they're playing. And I believe him. And if that's the case, though, if they're looking for certain matchups, these guys aren't the guys. So they're technically not blocking anybody, because if they found somebody better,
they play regardless.
They play them.
Yeah.
I wonder how that aligns with what the Cardinals did last year when they would platoon players.
Yeah, but the Cardinals screwed everything up, okay? So when I know what they did, but when you talk about Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, who did they really block? Michael McGreevy?
He pitched really well.
But who did they really block? Like, there wasn't a young pitcher that came out of spring training that were like, holy crap, like he's got to play.
Yeah.
Quinn Matthews, he shot up the ranks. He might be the guy this year that forces one of these guys out, like not Lance Lynn or Gibson, but one of the guys that we think is going to be in. But I don't feel as strongly about Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson blocking people as I did about Matt Carpenter and the Crawdaddy. Because Crawdaddy took a roster spot where Sajasi could have been up here earlier and contributing, and he was a contributor. And Matt Carpenter took a spot, probably Lukenbaker's spot, where Lukenbaker could have just been a guy off the bench for the whole season.
Right.
Now, not a left-handed bat, but still, you had enough lefty bats in your lineup to begin with.
I think towards the back half of the season is when you could have looked at the starting rotation and been like, okay, like why are we having a discussion? And we had multiple discussions about Lance Lynn versus Andre Palante.
Oh, gosh.
That should have never been a discussion.
Right.
And then when Michael McGreevy comes up and you're on a playoff push and this guy absolutely shoves, and the guy you bring in and Tommy Pham saying, oh, that was a spot start? We should have him in the rotation. And then you send him down. Then he comes up again. And what does he do? He pitches really well once again. And, he wasn't a part of your plan because you had to have these guys pitch. To me, that's unserious. Right? Bring up the guy. Let him pitch. Maybe he is the next Michael Wacha or something. And you just didn't give him any legs to
especially
stand
when
on.
you're out of it.
It was weird.
At that point, they were still kind of in the mix a little bit.
But, I mean, yeah. Roll the dice at some point. I understand the thought process. Well, we don't want to ruin the young guy. But you'd seen that he could handle those opportunities. You're not interested. You're not interested at all. You as a human being, you're not interested to watch this young guy pitch again?
This is why I said they didn't really have playoff aspirations. Because if you did, you play the best players. And you couldn't tell me that the players that you were trotting out there every fifth day were the best players. That's why I said you're not, Marshy, it's unserious. It's not a team that is actively pushing for a playoff spot, because you're not playing the best players. So why would you? That goes back to my point about Ryan Hill. Well, we had to keep him because we were so close. You didn't care, in my opinion, because like Jamie says, if they're good enough and if they are, the only way you're blocking somebody is if you are the better player. If I'm just playing people because it's your turn to go, That's not a team that's trying to actively win, in my opinion.
Could you imagine if Jordan Binnington came up and posted a shutout in his first start, and then the Blues were like, hey, thanks, see ya.
Appreciate it.
Send him back down.
Good job, young fella.
Now, obviously, it's not the same, but like,
pretty close.
Come on.
Pretty close.
Boy, we should play that out. What if the Cardinals ran the Blues?
Oh, no.
Boy.
Huh?
What?
Well,
Too dark? They ran the Blues?
Yeah.
Might as well move the team to Columbus, Anthony.
Oh,
wait, they already
wow.
have a team.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets have been okay.
Yeah. The Columbus Blues Jackets.
Yeah.
How okay have the Blue Jackets been, Anthony?
Well, better than, I don't know.
They got
the Blackhawks.
They got the Buckeyes. They'll be okay.
No. 22. They are better than the Blackhawks.
Yes.
I mean, they're last in their division.
I did it.
But they are better than the Blackhawks. And the Predators.
That is insane.
Predators.
And the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, and the Ducks about to get worse.
And the Canadians and the Sabres and the Red Wings.
So when I
the
said
Blue Jackets are on fire.
When I said that, and you looked at me.
Well, it's because I know they're eighth, which is last place in their division.
Still.
Yeah.
Better than, what now, 5-6 teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they're way ahead of plan.
Real quick here, you mentioned the Red Wings, and I wanted to get your take on this. How long do they have until, like, they make the playoffs?
It was supposed to be this year.
So, like, obviously, Stevie Y is not going to go anywhere.
They're not firing him.
Of course not. But, like, at what point they're like, hey, is this coming together or is this not coming together?
Yeah, they're not in a great spot right now. As I look at it here right now, they're well, it's not terrible. They're only 4 points out of a wild card spot. Mm-hmm. As bad as their season has been for them, they're only 4 points out of a wild card spot, which is crazy, which means there's lots of hockey left.
Mm-hmm.
And
could be worse.
There's a rumor mill out there Stevie Y is about to make a monster deal.
Does it involve Dylan Larkin?
No, I don't think so. I saw that somebody. I've only seen it one spot. I couldn't confirm it.
May have seen the same thing.
That Dylan Larkin asked for a trade, which makes no sense. He's from the Detroit area. He's the captain of the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Steve Yzerman is his idol. Mm-hmm. Like, pretty tough to see that he's asking for a trade.
You don't see it.
I don't see it.
All right, let's see. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got my Week 15 NFL game notes next on 101 ESPN.
You just get off work. If you did and you're hungry and you're looking for a great spot to go, please go visit my friends over at Twin Peaks. First of all, nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. They've got great daily specials going on there. They've got great cocktail specials, great bourbon selection. They've got flavored vodkas. And, of course, they've got the old Pink Whitney. If you're a hockey fan or a Spittin' Chicklets fan, you know exactly what the Pink Whitney is. And let's not forget about the 29-degree man-sized draft of frosty mugs, icy cold beer. It's fantastic. And you can pair that 29-degree man-sized draft with any of the burgers, the sandwiches, the flatbreads, the tacos, the wings, anything on the menu. But if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, they've got salads and soups. They've got some little bites, they call them, which is like the appetizer section. Whatever you're looking for, From food standpoint, they've got you covered over at Twin Peaks. And when it comes to watching your favorite sporting event, they've got TVs all over the bar. They'll do their best to accommodate any game that you want to watch. And you're just automatically going to have a great time over at Twin Peaks. By the way, the staff is fantastic as well. They're there to help you and have a great time. So please visit my friends over at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. So we heard from Marsh, Jamie, and Carey when it comes to their Week 15 NFL game notes from the last one. And one of the first thing that I wanted to touch upon was the Eagles finding their passing game. Sorry, Carey. I know that was frustrating for you to watch. Honestly, kind of frustrating for me, too.
It happens.
Wanted to see the Steelers go to Philly and continue to play well. I thought the Eagles had control of that game the entire time. Definitely in the fourth quarter when they ran 10 minutes off the clock. I mean, the Steelers decided to punt on like 4th and 7, which in and of itself, not a terrible call because you're trying to get one stop, get the ball back. But when you don't touch the ball for the final 10 minutes of the game, that's got to be demoralizing.
The issue in Pittsburgh is when George Pickens is out.
There's nothing. There's no deep threat. There's no deep game. Yeah,
he's your player. He's your playmaker on the outside. Mm-hmm. He draws a lot of attention, which makes things easier for other players. Freiermuth, Calvin Austin, Mike Williams, the running game. When he's not playing, you're not going to see a lot of explosion from that offense. So I kind of felt that way going in with him being out, but was still. And then the Steelers had an opportunity. They made some plays in the special teams game. They got a fumble earlier. T.J. Watt knocked the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands.
He should have had the other one. Did you see that one?
And then they fumbled a punt. Mm-hmm. And so you got a couple of opportunities to get extra drives, but you just can't get anything going without.
You put
George
the ball
Pickens
on the ground too. Yep. Who was that? Najee Harris.
It was Najee
Harris or Warren?
It was Najee.
Either way, getting back to Philadelphia, I thought that was one of the better games that Jalen Hurts had played all year. I thought that he didn't hang on to the ball very long. I thought he was efficient. When the Steelers went to man, he shredded them. Mm-hmm. Anytime they needed a big play, he would find one of those wide receivers, and Pittsburgh just didn't have any answer for A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith. I mean, it was clear from the get-go. But I think the Eagles, they're one of those teams, and we kind of bought into. I know Marsh, you did, and I did too. The thought of the Eagles, the infighting, they don't like each other, whatever. Maybe they're just that dysfunctional family that makes it work. They're fantastic either way. And
it is Philly.
If you got to go to Philadelphia, if the route in the NFC goes through Philadelphia, that's kind of scary for other teams in the NFC. So that was my first takeaway. My second one, the loss last night to the Packers may have been like the ending, the beginning of the end for the Seahawks. One, you did lose your quarterback in Geno Smith.
Yeah, I thought it was an ankle, but they said it's a knee, which I think is worse.
Either way, even if he misses, let's say he misses one game or two games, this is the end of the season. And Sam Howell looked completely lost last night.
True.
So if he's out, it was going to be kind of tough to win with Geno Smith because I think their schedule is they got to play the Rams at least once more. I don't know if they're going to play the Niners again. Not that that's a huge mountain to climb, but it's still the Niners. I think that last night may have been the final issue there for the Seahawks.
Yeah. They got the Vikings, Bears, and Rams.
Okay, so two quality opponents there. But the defense got worked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they couldn't get the Packers off the field in the first half. And then Green Bay just kind of went through the motions in the second half and still had no issues. I think the Seahawks are in big-time trouble. My third takeaway, I think the playoffs in the NFC are going to be wild. If you get the Buccaneers in it, and I think the Buccaneers win out, which means they're going to be 11. They're going to be an 11-win team. I mean, we were talking about the NFC South. Whoever wins the NFC South is going to be atrocious. That's not the case. I think the Bucs could potentially get the third seed. If the Rams get in, the Rams are at least more explosive than the Seahawks are if they win the NFC West. The wild card teams are all going to be exciting, whether it's Marshy's Vikings or Jamie's second child, the Lions. The Green Bay Packers looked phenomenal last night. They look like they're coming around. They could have beat the Lions last week. And it's a turnaround there for them. They got to go on the road and play Seattle. You know, they had 2 road games. They looked great last night, so they're going to be one of those wild card teams. And while they hung on for dear life against a bad Saints team playing their third-string quarterback at the time, the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, if they wind up clinching that last seed in that NFC, the NFC playoffs are going to be kind of fun. I
think Washington is they've kind of slowed down a little bit, especially once Jaden Daniels got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They started to regress a little bit, kind of back to the norm, which when you have a rookie quarterback, what I would expect them to play.
Sure.
I'm used. You all are much higher on the Buccaneers than I am. I'm still
hurt.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I finished your sentence.
I am still hurt.
They're still pain in those eyes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get cut by a team twice. You think they love you, and then they break up with you twice. What do you?
They flat out tell you, no, we do not love you.
2 times.
Sometimes relationships need a lot of work, Carey.
Well, it's hard when only one side is working. Hell. I was working my ass off, Jamie.
Let's try, buddy. Let's try it here for you.
No, I think because as it stands right now, Tampa would be playing Green Bay. You like Green Bay? You like Tampa more than Green Bay in that matchup?
I think it's a fun matchup.
I think Green Bay smokes them.
You think they smoke them?
I do.
No.
I do.
I am way higher on Tampa than you are.
I believe that.
Unless Kirk Cousins gets traded to Green Bay, and my God, please trade him to Green Bay. I don't think the Bucs are going to be intimidated by anybody that goes in there.
Yeah, I think Green Bay would take care of business versus Tampa Bay, even in Tampa for that game.
All right.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be fun. For me, the NFC, watching this 1 and 2 seed, how that plays out. I said earlier, the Lions have had so many dang on injuries. They are going to be limping into the playoffs. They are the one team out of all the teams in the NFL that need that first round bye.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Chiefs can deal without it. The Bills can't. Like, every other team can manage without being that number 1 seed. The Lions, I don't think they can.
I agree.
And they might be a team, with all of they've done this year, they could be ousted in the first round based on just how they're going to end up limping into the playoffs.
Sure.
So that's going to be interesting for me to watch how those final few weeks pan out, seeing who's the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I'm with you on that. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have our biggest question of the day next.
your performance with my friends over at Pure Performance, your one-stop shop for all modifications to your vehicle. And whether you drive a car, a minivan, a pickup truck, a Jeep, a Bronco, Pure Performance has something for you. Whether it's adding on something to carry extra cargo, whether it's an exhaust system, drivetrain, brakes, engine, lighting kits, leveling kits, lift kits, all of those things available. And of course, they carry tires for any vehicle out there on the road today. And they also have an unbelievable selection of oversized tires and off-road tires as well. They've got a 25,000 square foot facility located in St. Peters. It's an awesome facility too. It's right off of Highway 70, easy to get to. When you go inside Pure Performance, please ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to take great care of you. Going to ask you what your vehicle is, what you're looking to do, and what your budget is. And then they're going to get you the most for your budget. And the technicians do a fantastic job. When you pick up your car, you're just going to absolutely love it. It's going to look amazing. And that's because my friends over at Pure Performance, they care. They care about their customers. So please stop in, check out the showroom. It's awesome. But if not, at least get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Over the weekend, the Blues fell to the Dallas Stars in overtime by a final score of 2-1, but they bounced back yesterday on home ice, defeating the New York Rangers by a final score of 3-2. They'll take on the New Jersey Devils tomorrow night, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full show shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tonight on 101 ESPN, you can listen to Monday Night Football as the Vikings take on the Bears. Pregame starts at 6:30. Coming up next, we have our biggest question of the day. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen, one of our most heated topics today came via college football. That was the Heisman discussion that we had, and obviously Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. Him and Shedeur Sanders, and I think, Anthony, you mentioned this earlier in the show, they're going to play in their bowl game.
Yeah.
And so I believe is Cam Ward, who was also a Heisman finalist. These guys, they don't have to do that, right? They don't have to play. They're going to the NFL. They're going to be first-round picks. However, they are making a lot of money because of NIL. And there are other players that are making a ton of money because of NIL.
Sure.
Do you think that players that are making that much money, do you think they should have to play in these bowl games because of the amount of money they're making from these schools?
Not unless it's part of the deal. I mean, I get the moral aspect of this. You were paid all this money through NIL, but unless there's a contract that was signed saying you're going to have to play in a bowl game or whatever, then I don't think they should be required to. What do you guys think?
So I guess I would have to ask, when they're provided the NIL money, what are the stipulations?
Right.
Like, how loosey-goosey is this? They talk about there's no contracts. Well, I bet you there are some out there. Like, if let's say I'm Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making this up right now. And
Sure.
I want to give NIL money to Luther Burden. And I say, Luther, I'm going to give you, I don't know, $100,000 for the entire season.
What does the season entail?
Kind of telling you that you're going to play every game. You're not going to take a game off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it has to be communicated. And I think some of these guys are making pretty good money. Like, if it's some of the high-end players that are making, some of them are making $1 million, $2 million a year right now.
Right.
I understand there's more money on the table at the NFL level. I totally understand that. But at some point, you kind of owe it to your fan base, too, especially now that you're getting paid. I don't know. Carey, what do you feel about it?
If they are not, if it's not in the contract, they're do whatever you want to do, right? It's essentially how that works. Quinn Ewers went to Ohio State for 1 year, didn't play a snap, got $1 million, went to Texas. That's kind of how it has been. So if they want stipulations in it, and I doubt that any player would say, yeah, you're going to force me to play in a bowl game. No, you're not. Because we talked about it earlier. You talked about Jalen Smith at Notre Dame when he tore up his knee before he got drafted by the Cowboys in the 4th round. He was a projected 1st-round pick. Ended up getting drafted, I think, 4th or 5th round because of it tearing up his knee in a bowl game that didn't really mean anything. It wasn't a BCS game. It wasn't a college Final Four game. It was just a bowl game. So, you're going to have a hard time getting players to sign on the dotted line saying you have to play in this bowl game because what am I gaining from that? There's more at risk at that point. I've gone through the entire season. I've probably fulfilled all of my needs and duties in terms of signing this NIL and whatever this company X has asked me to do. So, I don't think that they would force anybody or be able to force anybody to sign.
I wonder if some of the NIL companies or where the money comes from, I wonder if they will present contracts that stipulate flat out, like if this team makes it to a bowl game or a major bowl game, one of those things where it's not like the toilet bowl down in like whatever. Like if it's a big bowl that's going to be nationally televised, I wonder if they start making them sign on the dotted line saying, look, you're going to fulfill your duties.
So some of the money is like a collective. So company X will pay into the collective. I want to spend this much money.
Yeah,
it goes
I understand
to him.
that, but I'm wondering if it'll migrate eventually to like you just.
But you don't really have, from what I've gathered, you don't really have anything. So you mentioned like Enterprise.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a logo that says Enterprise during the game.
Well, we don't.
So, well, he's not. That would be a violation of uniform rules.
It doesn't have to be on his uniform. What if it's on his T-shirt?
And he pulls his T-shirt up and gets a flag? That's
after the game, pulls the pads off.
He can do that. He can. He can just stand on the sideline with the damn shirt.
He's getting paid.
He can have it on all day. If
well,
that's
you're
the
talking.
case.
I mean, that's what's happening.
I'm just saying, if he's standing there, he ain't got to risk getting injured.
I mean, I understand how it works. I'm just wondering if eventually, though, it gets to a point where there are contracts in place to where you have to fulfill your duties, because bowl games, a major bowl game, is money for the program too.
Yeah.
And if you don't have your best players there, then the program suffers maybe by not getting that money.
Well, no, they still get the money if their team is there. It doesn't matter if they. Once you're there, you're there.
Don't you get more if you win?
I don't think so. I think you get paid just for showing up.
All right.
Yeah,
I don't pretend to know. I don't. I don't.
Yeah, it could be like, one of those things where maybe it's based off which bowl you're in, because we look back at last year. What bowl game was like super popular all over social media? It was the Pop-Tart Bowl. Remember the Pop-Tart Bowl? We had the little Pop-Tart guy walking around.
They added to that, eh?
They got a trophy now where there's I was going to say microwave, a toaster, a built-in toaster to
Who doesn't want that
the trophy. So like the Pop-Tart Bowl is something that generates a ton of clicks, a ton of views, and if maybe your player is in that specific bowl game, then it's driving more revenue towards whatever business. Like, you mentioned Luther Bird and well, we don't even need to use Enterprise. We can use the chips. The
Chippewas?
No, not those chips.
Fire chips. Yeah, they're not in the bowl this year, Mark.
No, they're not.
Red Hot Riplets, right?
Yeah.
So maybe if he, I'm not saying, they're not even in the Pop-Tart Bowl, but like we're using him as an example. He's in there. We know that, okay, Red Hot Riplets, whatever, like just him being there. Maybe he makes a great play and they win the Pop-Tart Bowl and he's eating the Pop-Tart and you're like, hey, like this guy is getting more clicks on social media. Maybe they don't care about that stuff, but it's just interesting to think about.
It certainly is.
For me, it's just interesting to see
is.
how this will evolve eventually, because there are going to be some schools that get screwed out of NIL money because they're paying their guys to play a certain amount of games and they don't. And then, like to your point, Carey, there's players that go to a college, get paid $1 million NIL, never take a snap, and then transfer.
See you.
Yeah, like, are you asking for that money back at that point? Like, It's all very much the Wild West right now when it comes to this. And I just wonder at some point what kind of structure will be put in place.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. When we come back, we'll have Bet the Board. We'll have 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments next.
If you are planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. And that's why I chose Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in the St. Louis area. The market's all over the place here. And if you need to sell and buy at the same time, this announcement is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and then allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing it for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average agent when you can get the best? And the best is Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and call her. And once you talk to her, you will know right away that she's the one you want buying and selling your home for you. And that phone number is 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or your Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Podcast always brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Marsh, what are our updated standings?
All right, so I have 7, thanks to the Army-Navy game, hitting the over.
Thank you, Navy, for you.
Yes. Anthony, you and Jamie are still at 6. Carey is still at 4.
Hey. Go ahead, Marshy.
My 6-leg parlay didn't hit.
Did not.
Sorry.
In the Edmonton and Vegas game, it hit the over. Did not hit the under.
I mean, that was a good play, though, because the two teams had combined for 1 goal only.
That's true.
The first time they met.
Mm-hmm. That was a great play, Jamie.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
Give me Andrew Van Ginkel over 4.5 tackles plus assist.
That's not
minus
a real guy.
150.
No way, that's real.
That is a real guy, and he is the logo. Minnesota Vikings.
The logo.
Wow.
The logo.
Wow. All right, Jamie, what do you got?
I'm going to the NHL. Vancouver Canucks are a little bit of a disaster here recently, so I'm going to take the Colorado Avalanche on the money line at minus 129.
Okay. As we know, Kirk Cousins can only throw the football about 4 feet right now, and that is why Ray McLeod will have over 34.5 receiving yards tonight.
Ooh, throwing it short?
He's throwing it short.
He's going to run for 34 yards?
Ray McLeod may take off for 35 yards.
Okay. Give me Justin Jefferson over 5.5 receptions.
Okay.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't hate it.
Appreciate it. I should change it now.
Whoa. Wow. Ouch. Jamie, try not to take that personal.
Oh, no, I took it personal.
So he'll probably get 4.
You know what,
maybe.
Carey? What is it at 5.5?
Yeah.
I hope he catches 5.
I hope he catches. Yeah.
5. Right there.
Wow.
And then I'll just.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll call you tonight, actually. Right after. Hey, Carey, still awake? Just checking in on you.
So the last time the Vikings played the Bears, he had 2. He had 2 on 5 targets.
Here we go.
And everybody else went off.
Hey, what did TJ Hawkinson do?
Well, it doesn't matter. You have Justin Jefferson.
Hey, I know
So
what I got.
everybody else went off.
Yeah.
Like
Addison, Jefferson.
You got a fantasy game tonight, don't you? I do too.
I got Justin Jefferson on the opposing team.
So that you know what? That's a great strategy. That's a great strategy because if they do,
it's fun anyway.
The opponent does very well. Then you win bet the board, and if they don't, then you win your fantasy league. It's a win-win.
I think Carey's giving up on bet the board. That is parlay missed. I can see it in his eyes. Yeah,
I've had a couple of rough months since baseball ended. I've had nowhere to go.
Yeah, you
called it.
Yep.
You called this.
I said the well's going to dry up.
And it has.
I got to find another bet.
And it has.
1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs was.
By the way, I heard that's removed for next year.
Yeah, nah.
They're not allowed to do that anymore.
No.
Nah. You rode the 0.5 for a while. Nolan Gorman. 0.5 hits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Oh, boy. From the 618, who had the Heisman Trophy being the nail that splits the fast lane?
Yeah, it got bad.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Nobody.
Marshy wasn't having it.
No, he was not.
He
Marsh
said
was
stats
in
is
real
not a
tick.
stat.
I was really hoping that you would have my back
I'm
more.
sorry.
Yeah, you did kind of. You didn't
playing the fence
completely
there.
bail on him, but you really didn't.
He teetered.
I didn't.
You did.
Listen, I wanted Ashton Genty to win, but
still teetering.
Totally.
This guy.
He's totally teetering.
Wow.
Yeah, he just.
Justin Jefferson, 5 receptions for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's awful.
That's a big night.
That's awful.
But it would not.
It hurts me in both ways.
That's why he said it.
Terrible.
Wow.
That's sick, Marshy.
That happened quickly.
That's what happens when you don't back me up.
It hurts in both ways.
Holy smokes. Do not cross our guy, Marshy.
Learn something new every day.
Man. Anyways, 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes to Opie.
Oh, man, Opie.
Still don't know who that is.
Opie, man, that was a sad one, man. It was. That was rough.
Gone but not forgotten.
Going out for Opie.
Second star of the day goes out to the fake Carey Davis.
Oh, yeah. Wherever that guy is.
I wonder how that all ended up.
He's in the snake pit.
He's been around.
All right, first star of the day, Jamie Stalker.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Oh.
Well, the one was a little more serious than the other.
Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. That'll do it for us. We appreciate everybody listening. We'll be back tomorrow for Andrew Marsh. Go Vikings. For Carey Davis. For Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.